The following production is part of the We Be Geeks podcast collective.
From days long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend.
The dream that came through a million years, that lived on through all the tears.
It came here, the Fandom Nexus.
Fabulous secret powers were revealed to our host as he plugged in his microphone.
I have a podcast!
Here he is, your Spider-Pan, Jeremy.
And Lost Boy Philip is here, banging his head with that rockin' music.
Hello there.
You've kind of gotten that intro memorized now. You're kind of talking along with it.
That's right. I'm turning on my radio voice.
Oh, indeed. We are getting to our announcer cheeseball voice.
That's right.
That's right. I actually was told once in one of my classes that I needed to learn how to turn off my radio voice when I was recording because it comes on quite naturally, but I can use it very well in advertising.
Welcome to WKRP.
Oh, indeed. And that voice comes out when I'm recording those ads for the TV station now.
Well,
I turn it on and off.
I don't use it when I'm doing a sermon because I'm a pastor as well. But that would be very interesting if I'm like, hey, welcome to the
Moment of Truth Bible Baptist Church. I am Philip, and I will be your pastor for the duration. So, oh yes, and you know what? I forgot to. Well, of course, I kind of got introduced, but I should follow up for anyone who has never listened to the show before. That's right. I'm Jeremy. I'm Spider-Pan, and I am so sorry we haven't had a show all month other than the anniversary starting off season 9, and I feel like I had big promises and big dreams, and they came crashing down this month. We were going to have a big Lord of the Rings trivia thing.
Yes.
December's a rough month to try to coordinate something like that.
Yes.
Heck, I've been busy. A lot of the things I traditionally like to do wasn't really able to do.
It's been a weird Christmas month, hasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't really had the time on weekends to do what I want to do. Although we did on Christmas Eve, we got out to Union Station to go look at the decorations. But that ends up being kind of an interesting story. So normally we go down like on a weekend, and on a weekend when you go to Union Station Crown Center here in Kansas City, it's free parking. So you just go in your park, and then we'll go look at all the decorations at Union Station. They have a big hall that you come down, and they have a kind of a little train. And just kind of neat stuff to look at. I love looking at Christmas decorations. And you go into this other area, and they have all these miniature trains and stuff, and they have like Lego setups, and it's wonderful to come and see. And then we'll go across. There's a little or walkway over the top that you can go into Crown Center.
Beautiful stuff.
We go into a tea store in there and have some of the nice, Chinese tea at Shang Tea.
Yeah.
Go looking around at this like really neat kind of toy store that has like old classic toys, that kind of thing. That's our traditional stuff we like to do. Well, this year, I had seen, I got a streaming version of the news, local news here, and I looked, and they had one of the channels around here, and I can't think of what channel it is, but they have like one tank trips. Where you could go on a tank of gas, go to do something here locally, and come back. And they had fun things to do for Christmas.
I've seen that. Those are fun.
Yeah. And they had of going to Union Station. And I'm like, oh, well, I love going to Union Station around Christmas. And they were talking about going, and they were showing, like, they have these animatronic singing penguins and all kinds of new decorations and things to see. I was like, oh, man, while I'm off work or something, man, we got to go, Heather, come on. Because we didn't get a chance to go on a weekend to go to Union Station like we normally did. So Christmas Eve we went. But Heather had found out it was going to cost us $5 a person to get in. That's not bad. $5 to go in. I'm willing to pay that.
Sure.
Of course, we went on a Friday and a weekday, and $10 to park. $10 to get in there and park. Now, the lady at the parking thing says, okay, we're going to close at 2. It's about 1:45 when we're pulling in there. We should have probably gone in the morning. They were going to close things at 2. It's Christmas Eve. I guess everybody wants to go home. And she said all the shops will be closed. I said, well, we're not here to shop really anyway in Union Station. We just want to look at the decorations. It turns out you could not even go down the hall because that's where the walkway was that you're paying $5 was. So you couldn't even see the decorations at Union Station without paying your $5. But they were getting ready to leave. It was like 1:53 by the time we got over there. And I would have gotten about 5 minutes in there to look at the lights for $5. So it'd been like $1 a minute to go in and say, yep, there they are. And then they were going to kick me out because they were closing that down at 2 as well. So I didn't even get to go. You know what? And now that I think about it, today being the Monday after Christmas, I could have gone today, and I didn't.
Well,
because it would have been open. But oh well. We did get the chance to go over to Crown Center. We had our nice Shang tea, had some nice hot Chinese tea. What did we? I don't think I got the chai tea this time. I think we got a different kind of tea. It was pretty nice. Had some ginger and honeysuckle. Yeah, honeysuckle ginger tea. And they had a new thing this year. They had these like they called them mooncakes. In China, because they don't do a lot of sweets in China and Japan. We've learned with watching some different shows that Heather likes to watch on Netflix. But they like to do stuff with red beans. And I didn't know what's the deal with these red beans, but the red beans, they have a sweet kind of flavor. And you can add a sweet to them. And these mooncakes, you had choices where they added, I can't remember, some sort of a floury kind of seasoning or whatever into it. Or you had add chocolate in with the red beans. When you mix the chocolate with the red beans, it actually tastes, and I think we were talking about this, I guess, with my in-laws, the Boston baked beans.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of tasted like a little cookie. It was about that thick, filled with this red bean kind of paste that kind of tastes like Boston baked beans. It was really, really tasty. It was different. So that's the first time I think I've had like a red beans. But that's what they bake their sweets out of. Whether it's kind of got a sweet taste, but it's not sugary sweet. But it's just this nice, pleasant sweetness like vanilla. Like, because I have people who say, "Oh, vanilla is plain." Vanilla is not plain. No. Vanilla is a flavor, and we put it in cookies and all kinds of wonderful things. Vanilla is a delightful flavor, and but that's what red bean reminded me of. It's that nice, just pleasant sweetness.
Vanilla is in so many things. Different cakes.
Oh yes,
it's in. We put it. My heavens, we put it in different types of bread. We put it in. Oh my! Heaven's sakes! That's in our normal what we would call plain ice cream, folks. That's vanilla. That's what we put it in. We put it in everything almost.
Yeah,
it's all over the place. I mean, we used to call that as a kid, because kids were not wise, but we always say, "Oh, I want regular ice cream." Well, that's vanilla.
Yeah, no, that's vanilla. Vanilla is a flavor, and I love it. I love vanilla. It is a good. I mean, people say, "Well, that's just the ordinary flavor." Yeah, but it is just good. Yeah. My top 3 flavors. It's very basic, perhaps, but I love Neapolitan because you get vanilla, you get chocolate, you get strawberry, and those are the 3 basics that I need for some good ice cream. Right there.
I remember.
I love it.
When I was a kid, I used to love to eat just straight out vanilla wafers.
Oh yeah,
those are great.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Vanilla wafers. Those are great with banana.
Yeah. Oh yes, and I used to love just to dip them in milk. That was
I don't know if I ever dipped those.
Oh, yeah.
I dipped my Oreos in milk.
Oh, yeah. Well, I like both.
Or even like you kind of have those vanilla cake, kind of like any Oreo, but they were vanilla.
Oh, yeah.
Those were good in that milk. Oh, yeah.
Good stuff.
Now I'm craving cookies. And that's the thing. And I bet a lot of you can relate to this. So my wife being a teacher, she's off for 2 weeks. And she had these big dreams. And this happens all the time. This is kind of her thing. I'm kind of telling on her. I'm going to go and do this when I'm off. But her thing was she was going to make cookies, and she wanted to go and do we have some molasses? Because I'm going to make this. Yeah. All these things she wanted to do. What did she do all last week before Christmas? Sleep.
That's a dream, too, if you're working all the time.
Yeah. Well, her thing is she's become kind of a night owl because she'll get used to grading papers into the night. But now she plays Animal Crossing half the night. Even last night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like, she's not asleep. What the heck? And she's in there watching some anime that... And now, if I'm going to watch something on TV, I'm going to watch something I don't have to read anything, so I can actually not look at the screen and I can fall asleep. I can close my eyes. She's reading something that's got subtitles, so she's having to keep her eyes open so she can watch it. I'm like, you're not going to be able to go to sleep if you're constantly keeping your eyes open so you can read something. But that's what she was doing. So she stayed up all night, which is now, so she was sleeping. I let her sleep most of the morning, even though I had things to do today. And I had a migraine, so we're actually here in Phil's apartment basement area to record this because she was getting a migraines because I couldn't record it at home like I'd planned to. And I was going to maybe have her on because some of the stuff I normally I would have previewed what was going to be on the show by now, and I guess I haven't. 20 years of Lord of the Rings in film, not the books, of course, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But the films came out 20 years this November, and I had planned on having it was going to be, or was it? No, it was December. But I was going to have December 18th. This great trivia, and I invited people, and when I first had thought the idea, and I was trying to organize it in November, I had a lot of people who were excited about the idea and wanted to do it, but nobody could ever do it at a time.
It fell through.
It fell through twice. And I have Mr. Paul Harder, if you're hearing this, brother, you were so excited to do it. I'm so sorry I didn't get this going for you because he was he was ready to go each time, but he'd have been the only one there. And like, man, I want to have a competitor with you. I wanted 2 teams, and I had 2 teams starting to go, but then it kind of came apart. Everybody's like, "Oh man, I got something to do with church tonight." It's like, "Oh man, I got my time with my daughter tonight," and so everybody just couldn't do it on the nights that I was trying to work around because I had stuff to do at church. We had parties, we had a Christmas program, and I had other things going on the weekend. So it just December's a really difficult month. Everybody's super busy.
That's right. I had Jeremy be the Gollum of the. No, I'm kidding.
I cannot do a good. I wish I could do a good Gollum voice. You have to get it up here, but my voice doesn't sound like Gollum. I can't do it.
No,
I just can't do it.
You sound like Munchies and Crunchies there for a second.
Munchies and Crunchies. Yeah, there's that back of the throat voice.
You're all over the place.
Oh, indeed. You can do this little voice in the back of your mouth.
It's sort of like this other one you can do it.
I usually don't hurt myself, but like the other guy on Lord of the Rings, that they added a character into Return of the King, the general
Who was just talking like this the whole time.
and it's not really using much of your vocal cords. It's just that getting the phlegm, and he's just talking through phlegm. Normally I don't hurt myself, but I need a drink of Mountain Dew. Pardon me. If we had some Doritos, this would be a party, man. I got my Mountain Dew Zero.
I got some M&Ms over here. We'll get you some M&Ms.
Well, but it's Doritos and Mountain Dew. I don't know why that's become the nerds in the basement sitting around playing D&D foods. And that one, I guess we're supposed to be listening to Rush.
Oh, no, I'm not going to listen to it. Oh, but
I am not today's Tom Sawyer.
No, but I'll tell you what I do have. Somewhere we have Rush Limbaugh, so if I can find that.
That's an entirely different Rush.
Yes, a different Rush.
I was actually more preference to what a Rush.
Oh, we got some of that, too.
Yeah, for anyone who knows that one.
Oh, shoot.
And DD-do. But anyways, we are going to talk a little bit about some Lord of the Rings, and you weren't really a big fan of it initially. Also,
I like some of it.
I think we have already talked about over the summer when with 20 years of Harry Potter.
Yes.
But there's actually something coming up very special. Which I don't think it's on the 31st here. This one, I think it'll be January 1st. It'll be on HBO Max. There's a really fun Harry Potter 20-year reunion. I believe I have that trailer coming up because we got a lot of things to talk about in the trailer park. We got a bunch of movies we've seen this month.
Yes.
Holy camole.
I didn't see Holy Camole, but I saw a few others.
Oh, Holy Camole was, actually, I said camole instead of cannoli because I'm not Italian. But yeah, cannoli is, he went to church, got saved, and now he's holy.
There you go.
He's joining the VeggieTales.
There you go. I like it.
I don't even know what a cannoli is.
A cannoli is an Italian treat.
Now I know it's Italian, but there we go.
It's a wonderful treat. I know because through my marriage, when I was married, I was related to a wonderful man whose family was from Sicily. And boy, I tell you, he was a good man. He's now with the Lord. He's passed away this last year. But some of those traditions that they taught us, it's like a little cookie, a solid cookie that has some cream in there, and it's so good. I tell you, we'll have to get you cannoli.
Yeah,
wonderful.
I probably would like it. I like trying fun things.
Yes, you would love it.
As demonstrated with the moon cake that I chewed on this week.
He gave us some cannolis, and oh man, wonderful stuff.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I had intentions of doing for the holidays. I got that Harry Potter holiday meal recipe book, and even I've got the Disney unofficial cookbook for stuff inside the parks. And I thought, this would be great to get in there and get some of the holiday meals that are like British that are you hear about in the Harry Potter books. I was going to make stuff, and I never did. Now I did. I got some of the fall stuff. We did make the pumpkin juice.
This time you got to actually have the pumpkin juice.
Yeah. And what was the other thing I made? It was the butterbeer. I made a butterbeer.
Yeah.
There was all kinds of butterscotch.
So rich.
When you warm it up, it wasn't bad, but it's cold. It was just too much.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's so rich about to knock you out.
Oh, yeah.
I gained 18 pounds just from one sip. No, I'm kidding.
But I didn't get a chance to make any of the holiday treats because, heck, one of the weekends I even had a funeral to go to for my uncle. So it's been a wild month.
But the interesting thing is, the first time I brought him pumpkin juice, I brought it to him from Universal Studios in a bottle that said pumpkin juice on it, and it had a pumpkin on the top of the bottle. The problem is, I brought it to him, and when I did, I had to get on the plane, and I forgot to put it in my my suitcase. So when I did, it was on my carry-on, and they wouldn't let me do it. So they were either going to throw it away or I had to drink it right away. So I drank the whole thing down right then and there in a matter of a couple seconds, all the way down. I mean, all the way down. And I put it back on there. I mean, it was great. And then I had to bring it back to him empty as could be. And the look on his face was hilarious.
Yeah, I had to bring me back an empty bottle. I kept the bottle, though.
I did the same thing for mine.
Yeah, I got a pumpkin juice bottle, but I never got to actually try it that way. But yeah, these recipes, I don't know if they're matching exactly what you get at Universal, but maybe one of these days I'll get to find out. Because I have been reading where... well, he's known as the Mortis over at Disney Indiana. He's been talking about, he was, I don't know when I might have been going for the holidays. He was going to Walt Disney World, and he found it was cheaper for him to stay in a Universal resort and then go over to Disney and then go back. And then, of course, he's going to go to Universal anyway. But yeah, it was cheaper to stay at Universal right now.
Our good buddy Sean was in Disney yesterday, Disneyland.
Yeah, I did see he took a picture out there in front of the castle.
Yeah,
yep.
Real pretty stuff.
And I didn't really look into it because we don't really cover Disney so much anymore.
No,
but I guess they are trying to fix up the Genie Plus to maybe they'll improve it. We'll see.
I like to see that. It's still, I don't know what it is about the Christmassy times at Disney. It just has this magic look about a feeling about it and everything.
Because it's Christmas.
Oh, it is. But
Christmas adds the magic.
But Disney always has a way of making things pretty and gorgeous. They really are magic, man.
Yeah.
They're good at it. They have that magic touch. They do.
And one of these days, maybe I'll be able to go for Christmas. But right now, they keep moving the carrot away from me.
Yeah,
they have this habit of making it worse.
Yeah,
to where
I hope that they get away
lower
from
middle
that.
class income that I am.
You know what I'm hoping too, and I'm not going to get anything political here, but I do wish too that they would quit making it towards one type and just make it back the way it used to be, where it was for all people. It doesn't matter what you think or what you're thinking, just put it right back there where it ought to be.
Yeah, the values being held right now in Disney's higher up is not matching the values that Walt Disney held.
No, it's not. It should be for all people, no matter what, and that's the way it ought to be because it's a dreamland.
Yeah, and
that's
right
how
now
it is.
they're focused on the almighty dollar. Now, Walt didn't he had a habit of he didn't have business sense. He just wanted to create.
That's it.
And he'd go and find ways to borrow money. He let Roy figure out the business. But now we've got nothing but business people who are running it, and they're just looking for ways to make money. Yeah, but I don't want to gripe on Disney because that's not what we want to do with this show because we want to be a positive show. So I'm going to stop.
That's why you had
stop myself.
You had a perfect combination of Roy and Walt together. They were a perfect team, just like the Sherman brothers, a perfect team. That perfect combination was just great that way. I love that,
and that's why I'm always going to be a fan of the Walt era, the Walt and Roy era. I am a vintage Disney fan.
That's what I love about.
That's a funny story. But go ahead.
I was going to say that's what I love about when you combine two perfect minds of certain eras. For instance, Hanna-Barbera, William Hanna, Joseph Barbera. They were perfect in their own right, and that one did one thing perfect, the other did the other one perfect, and together it was just wonderful magic, as I said before.
You get the right teams together, like us.
There you go.
But okay, so here's what's funny, and I haven't even gotten into our usual host chatter topical things, but my wife and I, we go and buy each other a gift for Christmas. And she went and she wanted to get me some, but the funny thing is we both got each other pajamas. I got her some fun, warm Winnie the Pooh looking pajamas. I thought they were adorable. And she did all right. She did fine. She got me some pajama bottom things with Venom on them.
Oh, that's fun.
But it was a size 44 and above. I'm like, I am not that big around. I'm only like a 39 inch. I have to buy a 40 and then cinch up a belt on myself to fit. And I'm trying to lose weight. I said, this is entirely too big. And she said, I had to go all the way out to Excelsior Springs to even find this. So I went over to Walmart to see if I could go and exchange the size. And I went and I got, brought it in, got it on a gift card. And I thought, well, if I have to, I'll get on the gift card online and maybe I can order the pajamas. Philip is laughing at something that I'm editing out of the show right now. But okay, so he won't be saying anything for a while. I'm going to mute him just in case he busts out laughing. When he's ready to talk again, I'll unmute him. Okay, but so I went in. I told him it was going to be a funny story. I didn't expect him to laugh before I even get to it. But I go around and I can't find those pajama things anywhere, but I find a Mickey Mouse shirt. Now, I swear I got probably 4 Mickeys, and most of them are all the same pose because I'm a fan of vintage Mickey.
Oh, me too, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got either the pie eyes with a slice out from the comic books or the old classic where it's just circle eyes.
Yeah, my favorite, yeah.
Kind
of ovally, yeah.
And but that typical pose where he's kind of got one heel on the ground with a toe up, but he's kind of leaning and he's got that ornery kind of smile.
You can almost hear it.
Yeah. Oh boy. But he's not that cleaned up, wishy-washy, whatever
no.
Mickey that you find in the parks.
Yeah.
He's old Walt Disney voiced Mickey
That's
style.
it. That's what
where
I'm saying.
he's ornery and he gets into mischief, and that's why we loved it. But I find another Mickey shirt, but he's got a different smile and a different pose.
Yeah.
So instead of buying pajamas, I bought that shirt because I needed. I'm sarcastically saying I needed another Mickey Mouse shirt.
He needed I need another hole in my head,
or like I needed another Spider-Man shirt. So, which one of my Spider-Man shirts? It's starting to shrink too much, and it doesn't fit comfortably anymore. So I'm gonna have to retire one of my Spider-Man shirts again.
My joke about me needing another hole in my head. Someone normal can say that, and that's funny.
You actually have had some holes in your head.
I've had so many brain surgeries, and I've got holes all over my head.
They've been poking holes in you that you can play Connect the Dots.
That's it.
Connect the Dots. Okay, my Pee Wee Herman voice is gone.
I'm like a pin cushion.
Yeah, you have been a pin cushion.
That's it.
I have seen you with the stuff on your head, the suction cups and everything else.
That's it. I've got it all.
I've seen it. Stuff, wires inside your skull, and oh my goodness.
I even got this place in my head that's puffed up because of the thing they call They call a port hooking up to my deep brain stimulator. That's what that is.
Is that what that? Okay,
yeah.
I thought it was scar tissue. My goodness,
it really does look like a pin cushion.
Wow! Oh my goodness!
That's what that is.
I'm looking at that lump on your head all differently now because now I understand. Okay, so that's where they hooked things up for your. Wow!
Yeah. I look like a Mr. Freeze meets all sorts of other Weird Mobiles and comic books.
With some sort of Star Trek alien because you got weird lumps in your head.
That's me.
Yep. But that lump is hopefully going to stop them seizures.
Yeah. It's saved my life, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, awesome. We love that.
Yeah.
So, but all right, so that's our not our typical host chatter, but let me get us into our typical host chatter here because, and I don't mind if this show runs long. This is our end of the year, end of the month. I'm making up for last time, y'all. So you're going to get as much fun with me as you possibly can. So hopefully you've enjoyed this so far of us just rattling on because I think we're interesting when we talk.
Yeah, well, I hope.
But that's us. So the first thing, of course, is I always ask the question, what have you been watching? And this is going to become a bit of a review. You finished Hawkeye. I finished Hawkeye, right?
Oh, I loved it.
And that's what Hawkeye. Now, I remember seeing stuff where people say it wasn't really matching the ratings they expected. People weren't watching it as much.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it caught on as it went along.
So.
And if you haven't watched Hawkeye, I want to be careful I don't spoil it, but it was really enjoyable. I actually liked it more than Captain America and the Falcon.
Me too.
Or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Because he became Captain America in that one.
Yeah.
It was, I think, on par with WandaVision.
But
maybe even a little better at points. WandaVision was wonderful creatively.
Oh yeah.
And this was just WandaVision. The ending, it kind of I don't feel like I got the climax that I was hoping for. It was still pretty good, but it felt like the climax didn't live up to the rest of the episodes. But Hawkeye,
yes.
Woo!
Yeah, it was tremendous. Plus, which I just adored the actress in it, and don't take that weird. I always loved that actress. I just didn't know from what until finally it hit me later on. I was like, "Where did I know her from?" So I looked it up, online and all that. Mm-hmm. I love that girl from True Grit, the remake.
Oh, you know what? I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the original either. I own a copy.
I love the original, but I love the remake too because it's more like the book. And which I read some of when I was young. Now, I'm not going to say I finished it because I didn't. But I'll
Plus,
say,
you love Jeff Bridges anyway.
Oh, Jeff Bridges was so great. People say, "Oh, he wasn't John Wayne." That's what I liked about it. He was the character, but he wasn't trying to be John Wayne.
Yeah, because you cannot be John Wayne.
And he wasn't. And I love Jeff Bridges. But I'm going to tell you something about this girl. As far as the original one, I think she's so. And this is not disrespect to the original actress. But I loved this girl in this new True Grit. First of all, she had pigtails, and I got a weakness for pigtails. I just think they're so adorable. But anyway, especially a young girl. In this case, she's supposed to be.
Well, that could sound really bad.
No,
so let's just say you just think pigtails are cute, but it's not.
Yeah, cute. I don't mean anything bad by that.
Yeah, because that could end up somebody. I could just see somebody taking that sound clip and running off and doing something horrible.
I don't mean anything bad by that. I mean, I'm an uncle. I love when my little nieces come in with pigtails, so adorable.
He loves children in the most fatherly uncle way.
That's it. Yeah. Well,
every baby is your favorite.
Oh, I do. That's true.
I know that's true. You just love babies. You just love to hug them.
Whenever this movie was on, and I was watching it for the first time of True Grit, this girl was such a good actress, and there's something about her eyes when she was saying stuff. It looked so true from what she was saying, and because in the film she lost her father and she had to go and do the story True Grit.
No, I've never seen any movie. I know nothing other than she goes to get John Wayne or whatever to go and get vengeance.
You got to watch it.
I know, and I own a copy. I just haven't sat down. Isn't it terrible?
Oh, dude, you got to watch it. Anyway,
I know, brother.
She's such a great actress. So when I'm watching,
there's a lot of movies I own ain't watched yet.
I've only got to see a couple things she's done, but I'm watching this actress in Hawkeye. I'm like, man, this is one of the greatest actresses I've ever seen. So I go to see who she is, and it says, oh, she was on this and this and this. I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch these other films now because this actress I think is outstanding. So then I go to see she was on True Grit. I'm like, well, no wonder I think she's outstanding, man. When I walked away from the movie the first time I saw the remake of it, I said, she's one of the best actresses I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's no joke. Goodness. I mean, it was so good. In fact, if you've ever seen True Grit, oh, you know what? I'm going to shut up because I know Jeremy hasn't. But one of the things that happened in the first remake the original True Grit is something happens to the main girl, which deals with. I can't even say it because I don't want to ruin it for anyone. Yeah. Anyway, this actress did such a good job that when I saw this remake of it and saw how this actress dealt with it, I thought, oh my gosh, it seems so real to me. So the same with this film. Everything that happened, I say film, I mean series of Hawkeye, everything that happened, you can see tears coming up in her eyes. Everything seems so real. That the reason why I loved it wasn't even because of Hawkeye himself, but because the way this actress has brought me in to the film, even from the first scene she's in. So as much as I love Hawkeye, she's what made me really want to watch every single episode. And then we see the villains. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, we had some good villains in there. Yeah, and that's the thing is, I mean, this is kind of a rough thing because this is where they're, clearly they're transitioning. They're bringing in Hawkeye's replacement.
Yes.
We're going to get a new version of Avengers, and we're going to get the replacements that have been in the comics.
Yes.
So this was almost kind of like passing the torch, and he's, I do like that we got the introduction to see her going through and wanting to be like him after, like in the alien invasion of the first Avengers film, Hawkeye saved her, not realizing he'd saved her.
No, he didn't.
But how she looked up to him, and so she learned archery and martial arts. She wanted to be him. So that was the interesting. Their relationship. Barely even friends,
Heroic. It was because she thought of him as a hero.
Yeah, and he didn't think of himself as a hero because...
But I love him that way.
And it was kind of neat because not only because he had spent time as the Ronin, where this dark side had come out, but also when he stands next to all the other Avengers, he's the guy without powers. So he's like a reverse Batman.
And I love Ronin
No one considers Batman the lesser part of the Justice League, not even Batman. But it made sense, and the way people even responded, the public who wasn't familiar with Hawkeye in the comics, treated him as like, oh yeah, the Arrow guy. They didn't care about him. Yeah. And I like the way that they brought that in. It's like he's the one who doesn't feel like he belongs. And even he looks to Natasha, his best friend in the whole world, that she's like amazing, and he doesn't feel like he's really much. Yeah. But yeah, he comes throughout the show, does these amazing things where does the no-look arrow, bullseye shots.
That has nothing to do with the arrows. Either has to do with him,
Yeah, and he doesn't, feel like he's all that special. But like, no, you've got a very extreme, unique skill set.
And the thing is, that this is not put down to them or even to DC really. But when I'm watching it, I'm saying, okay, I know that they had the show called Arrow and all that.
Yeah, but a lot of people thought Hawkeye was Green Arrow.
Well, because they didn't know any better. Yeah. But I was sitting there watching it thinking, after the show Arrow, had they used their wisdom, they could have made a Green Arrow film and used some of those types of arrows that are in this show, because those things could have been put in a movie and done with special effects like in this film.
Yes.
Because Green Arrow did it first. Now, I'm not putting down the show at all. I'm simply saying is that DC's really missing marks that they could have done.
They've been missing the marks all over the place.
Oh, they have, because one of the things I always loved about Green Arrow, I'm just going to Green Arrow for a second, I always loved his arrows, even the silly boxing glove one.
Yes.
Because just I kept thinking that stuff when I'm watching the show. I'm thinking, Green Arrow, what did y'all miss? Okay, look, on his show, he did some fun things. I'm talking about Arrow now.
Yeah, like in later seasons, he finally embraced being the Green Arrow.
Yes.
And he's quit using just standard arrows and killing.
Yes.
And he started coming with the creative arrows that, capture.
But by this point, it's still just a run-of-the-mill TV show, and it wasn't this big epic type of stuff that we're seeing on these miniseries type of shows like this. Disney, of course, knows how to cash in, and it's attached to these big movies, so everyone's watching. Where on Arrow, it was kind of like, oh yeah, it's like Smallville, which is it's for you small amounts compared to the big amounts are going to be watching on this.
And it was so even neat to see him having arrows that have Pym particles in it.
Oh yes, I love
was
that.
So great. And they really had Pym. He had Stark arrowheads.
I love it.
Oh, they had a lot of fun with it, and getting to show her how to make some of these arrowheads. Yeah, just so many different things that he was able to fire out and everything, and even marking stuff like that's super dangerous.
And I love how there's accidental things. You remember we used to joke around our little comics we used to make when we were young. Things would accidentally go wrong because that's what would happen.
Yeah.
If you have arrows, run-of-the-mill arrows with all sorts of weird stuff that's going to happen, and you're not going to always get the right one. And that's what happened in this. Some things just happen by accident. Some things, oh, look, he accidentally got it right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, very entertaining. Made a lot of characters interesting. And I don't want to be spoiling anything.
No, me neither.
But by the end, the real big bad behind everything, they've connected and they brought Vincent D'Onofrio back in as the Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I mean, at the same time that we get, I forget the actor's name. It's Matt Murdock popping up in Spider-Man No Way Home. Seeing him coming back as Matt Murdock. I forgot his actor's name. Oh,
I don't remember.
But it was nice to see him again, which I hope I didn't spoil anything in No Way Home for anybody, but we're going to talk about that later, too.
I also like, and I can't recall her name either, very pretty gal who played the sister of, dang it, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, Black Widow.
Oh, yeah. The sister, Natasha's not real, but basically sister.
Basic sister.
Wow, why am I not thinking of her name now? Yelena.
Yeah.
Yelena.
Yeah, you basically meet her in that Wanda film, not Wanda, hello.
The Black Widow film,
yeah.
And she gets to pop in, and she's kind of, although I guess I've been hearing some stuff that she's maybe not going to be a full replacement to a new Black Widow, that they were going to maybe do something different with her, she can pop up. I don't know, we'll see.
I'm not sure, but they did a good job bringing her in.
It's nice to see her come along, and I feel like we got a bit more character development.
What I loved about her was you kind of see her on both sides of the spectrum where she's not a villain, but you understand her point of view. And
she's a bit of an antagonist, but she's one that could very easily come into your side if she just understood what had happened, because she's very hurt.
Yes.
And she's being manipulated by, let's just call her Madam Hydra.
And I love how
because she's popping up, and I know it's going to be a big thing at some point.
I love how she's going back and forth, and she's, I love that woman when she's kind of teasing the girl.
Yeah. Well, especially when she shows up at her little apartment and keeps calling her Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
and I love it when Kate asks her, like, is there a reason you keep using my full name? Yes, Letter, it's Kate Bishop. And it's just like, I know how to find you. I can find out your family. I know, it's like, don't mess with me. And then don't get in my way.
I like the one that you think is the villain at first ends up being kind of a likable guy who would join the hero side.
Yes.
He ended up being fun.
Because he was so flamboyant and just fun.
He was like a Robin Hood. He was like a Robin Hood type.
Now, he does have something. He was in an illegal black market auction. But compared to some other characters, he was not that bad.
But you could see him genuinely putting on a mask and joining an Avengers type,
Yeah.
You could see him. I almost was like, oh, look, we have found ourselves what is his name? From the Pirates of the, hello, I'm thinking the wrong thing. Princess Bride. From the Princess Bride, what they call him?
Inigo Montoya.
Inigo.
He reminded me like he was trying to be Inigo.
Yes, but I'm talking about he could have easily been the new pirate.
Dread Pirate Roberts.
Dread Pirate Roberts, look, the Dread Pirate Roberts is now joined the Avengers.
If you're in piracy, he might get excellent Dread Pirate Roberts. Oh my gosh, he would have been cool because he's even with the mustache.
Yes.
He could have
got the sword.
Well, they are making some new Pirates of the Caribbean that are not Jack Sparrow. Maybe he should be in there somewhere. He would make a fun pirate. I'd love to see that actor as a pirate. Disney, if you're listening, come on, I give you permission. Hire that guy to be in the next Pirates of the Caribbean. Have him be a pirate somewhere. A pirate captain, he'd be great.
Well, you now do have Princess Bride involved with Disney in the sense that they own the Fox.
Yeah, they now own it.
Dread Pirate Roberts.
Please don't remake it, but I've been hearing that they've been talking about remaking Princess Bride. Please don't.
You can't beat Andre.
Yeah.
Literally.
Everybody stop! Okay.
Hulk Hogan is.
You're just never going to find the right giant.
Mm-mm.
Okay, boss.
That's right, boss.
That's right, boss. Oh my goodness! All right, overall, if you haven't watched it, our recommendation, definitely check it out. If you're thinking, well, Hawkeye wasn't really my favorite Avenger, go watch this movie. There's a really good character drama stuff, and it's all I mean, it was very fun to watch up to build up to Christmas because, like, the main thing, all Hawkeye wants to do is get home to his family for Christmas.
Yes.
And things just kind of happen.
It has a kind of a Home Alone feeling in a sense.
Yeah, he's just trying to get home for Christmas. And he got all the. It's such a good family feel that he wants to spend time with his family, and I love that. It's that realistic thing of like if you're still a regular guy, I mean, you're a great fighter, you're a brilliant archer, you're really all the talents that you have to where you are an Avenger. But to see that it's done some damage.
Yeah,
I love it. I think it's even the first episode you realize he's got a hearing aid. And he says, well, what happened to your hearing? And it flashes back to some stuff that's happened in Avengers movies. Crashing through glass and all this horrible stuff that's happened to him. It's like, yeah, he lost the hearing in one ear.
I thought it made it brought it real.
It made it real, yes. That's something they never do with Batman. Batman never seems to get, an act from a damage.
Well, one thing I guess this is me defending Batman, but one thing I do like about Batman is sometimes whenever he's home, in the cave or whatever, and he's going back up, you see, I've seen this before in the comics, but it's not the same when it's a real life person.
Yeah.
But whenever you see him holding his back, it's kind of like, oh, and he's got all these scars and stuff up on him, and you're like, oh, that I kind of like that because you see that he's taking it. He's taking
some abuse.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I have liked about the movies, and I remember even seeing the making of with Batman Returns, which I believe on one of the Blu-ray sets they put it back on there. I remember watching it multiple times the day of the release. I was watching it all day, which is probably why I was so jazzed when we went to the movie with Robert Urich. Yes, but Michael Keaton's there talking to Tim Burton there as a director when he's going to pull the claw out of his side. He's like, so maybe be more winded, but you see him actually. Are you in pain, sir? Not really.
Not really.
You can hear in his voice. Michael Keaton, great actor.
Oh, it was.
But you could hear in his voice, like, I heard a nasty fight there.
Looks at that.
Yeah, meow. But between that and then also, I love in the, I guess it was The Dark Knight, where you see Christian Bale's back or whatever, and he's got, these scars that he's taken from his time of being Batman. And he even's got that, with the dog, and he's stitching himself, and Alfred's like checking him out, with this. It was a big dog, But I love that he gets hurt, and I love because to some people who are big Batman fans, they think Batman's just invincible. He could take anybody. No, he's still a man. He's clever and he's good, but he can get beaten.
Quite honestly, a liar. I mean, which is to say, conniving in the sense that. He will lie and say everything's fine. He has to lie in order to be Batman. I'm not justifying lying, of course, but I'm saying he has to lie in order to say that he's not Batman.
Right.
That's just how it is.
It's part of what makes Batman cool and Hawkeye cool in this series is the vulnerability that underneath all the skills and ability,
just a man.
He's still a human. And he can be taken out as well as any other person.
Which is what I love about Green Arrow, too. There's no superpowers in there.
No powers. Oh, and heck, I even watched... it's on HBO Max. It's one of their animated, and you've probably watched this. It's I thought it was going to be an entire movie with Shazam and Superman. It's called The Return of Black Adam. I thought it was going to be a full movie, but it's a series of shorts, and it has a Green Arrow short in there, and he even talks about it's like, well, you try changing clothes in the back of a car because he suddenly sees something happen he's got to get into. But I love that it humanizes Green Arrow.
Yeah,
because it just shows like he's the guy who's just. Some mad skills with that bow and arrow, and he can fight, and he's just choosing to do heroic things, and that's where we see Kate Bishop as we're meeting her because this is her kind of her origin thing where she's trained really hard, and she's not the ace at her stuff. She's not like the master of things.
Well, the first scene
she's still got some learning. She's still got a learning curve that she can learn from Hawkeye, which was great. But she's got enough skills, and she wants to do the right thing. She wants to kind of be some sort of hero. Has she got being an Avenger in her mind? Kind of, maybe a little bit. But she wants to follow in the footsteps of Hawkeye.
What I love about her in the beginning scene of her in her college or whatever. No, she basically she's showing off. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
She's kind of showing off the skills.
I love that. One minute she's a kid. Then she's not. Then she has these adult-like thinking skills. And
she's at that right age where you're in between.
She's an in-betweener.
Yeah.
One minute she's very methodical in her thinking, and she can take care of things. She thinks things through, but she's very mature too.
Yes,
and you can see it working in her head. That's why she's such a great actress.
Yeah, she did a good job.
I love that actress, and she goes back and forth. And And I love it. You can see it in her eyes. You can see all the wheels working, and she knows how to trick. And she knows, talking about the character now.
Yeah, she does some clever things. Like, it's funny because she drives good old Clint crazy.
Oh yeah,
with some of the stuff, but it works. She gets like this crazy idea of like, hey, what if we try doing that? He's like, no, don't do that. But she'll go ahead and she'll do it. She'll try stuff, some weird off the wall stuff. It's like, well, that actually turned out to be a clever idea. So,
and he gives credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
But you can also tell he thinks her kind of like in a father way.
Yeah,
and because you can see he has kids about that age, probably not quite that old yet, but
well,
close.
yeah, they would be closer to her age, but they got blinked out for 5 years.
Oh, that's right.
His entire family got blinked, which is what drove him into becoming the Ronin. He kind of the anger.
That's right.
Of,
I didn't think that through. That's true. That's true,
So-
but it's always good whenever, I won't go into the whole thing. I don't want to ruin anything for anyone.
And I think that's part of what builds some of the drama. You want him to get home to his family so bad because you feel the 5 years of loss he's had.
Yeah.
Of not having his family, and he just got his family back. And I love at the beginning, he's there, he's taking his kids to New York, and he's got his list. Oh, we're going to do a Christmas movie marathon. What do you want to do? He's going asking his kids, what do you want to do? Let's go do it. He wants to spend all this time with his kids and his wife on Christmas. And then stuff happens, and he gets cut off, and he keeps missing all these things he wanted to do, and all the phone calls he has with his family, like every episode, are just painful. But he's like, I'm trying, I'm going to get back to you. I promise I'm going to be there by Christmas. I'm sorry I missed this, but all the stuff he's missing that he's had to miss for 5 years, and he's just, you can tell he's just got so much pain and anger inside of him, but he's trying to do the right thing. And
it's kind of that Steve Martin thing from Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. Or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Yeah, because
he just wants to get home and see his family.
In fact, I mean, it's got a lot of that Planes, Trains, Automobiles feeling, even to the very end.
Because he's got the one friend driving him crazy, but actually, you know what? You're our good friend.
And even the ending, in a sense, has to bring it back.
Yeah, it brings her. Well, I don't want to. Okay,
No.
I better stop before I give the ending, just in case. But if you haven't watched it, you need to go watch it. We've only been talking about it for the last 20 minutes. Get on Disney Plus and watch the Hawkeye show. It was excellent. And heck, this week, Book of Boba Fett starts this Wednesday.
And I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, brother. Yes, I've been looking forward to that for a long time now.
Me too.
Yes, and I can't do an impersonation of the new Boba Fett guy.
I'm also looking very forward to Obi-Wan, but we got a long time for that.
Yeah, we got a while for Obi-Wan. All right, so but anyway, that was the what have we been watching. We went in a long way. I want to jump into what have you been playing, because this is significant.
We didn't mention the Disney cartoon.
What Disney cartoon?
Encanto.
That's a movie review. That's much later.
I'm sorry.
This wasn't review. This was just what we've been watching.
Okay.
We're still in host chatter mode.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The next thing on host chatter, though, is like, what have you been playing? But now this, I find this significant. I was playing, of course, I was still working my way through Red Dead Redemption 2. But after watching Spider-Man No Way Home, I was like, you know what? I want to play the Spider-Man game again. I've played through that story, or the story mode, at least 3 or 4 times now. In fact, I mean, heck, I got the platinum on that game. But I thought, you know what? Let's go and play the story again on Spider-Man for PS4. And I find some interesting significance in some of the events in that game when Dr. Octopus in a almost in a political move, because he's got an enemy he wants out of office in Norman Osborn. He hates that guy, the philanthropist guy who's become mayor of New York, the businessman, scientist, and that he unleashes a plague upon New York. Now I noticed some interesting things of what goes on in this, and this, of course, now this is 2 years before 2020 and COVID happened.
Yeah.
But I saw some interesting similarities, because after the Devil's Breath plague is unleashed by Doc Ock, there were signs that popped up: stay home, stay safe. And everybody's, they've got people in masks. They have as Spider-Man calls them, a fascist totalitarian group is now enforcing things on the civilians to follow the rules or be incarcerated. Now, I'm not saying this is parallel, but this is parallel. I'm not going to get too far into this, but somebody using this, and their goal is, of course, to just get somebody out of office and punish him. I don't know of anybody that used a pandemic to try to get somebody out of office. Do you? That's as far as I'm going to take that.
I say nothing.
I'm not saying anything, but wow, did I find some stuff that's been going on in our modern world in this Spider-Man game. Well, and I would say, despite Spider-Man wearing a mask, he might have been among the no-maskers, Well, because he really had problems with the people enforcing these rules.
What was the name of that old man villain that Spider-Man used to have? that he ended up
the Vulture, because he's an old guy.
I was thinking that, and then also at one time there was a character in there who was like in some kind of wheelchair looking thing. But anyway, we'll say Vulture for now.
Oh, Silvermane. Silvermane, yes.
Silvermane.
It's Silvermane in the city.
Come on, man.
Yeah. All right, but we're not going to dive too far into that because that's not the type of show we are for the most part. Although there's going to be some stuff when we talk about the Matrix Resurrections. That's probably going to go that way because I did try to do some research and stuff because I wanted to see why people were having opinions. I wanted to look in on some stuff. But yeah, so I just found some similarities with playing the Spider-Man. But one of the reasons I also wanted to play Spider-Man is you've got a good Sinister Six in there, which, by the way, Philip really outdid himself. He got me some little figures. It's the Sinister Six pack. So that's funny why I say that, but it's got like a Spider-Man figure, and they've done like the Kenner style, and it has like the original Sinister Six all in the thing. And I got them up on the wall. It's beautiful.
Oh well, so man.
Yeah, and you get a Sinister Six, and I love in the game that it even calls it as Doc Ock is putting together. I guess I need a team, my Sinister Six. I was like, ooh yes, I love the fact that you got a Sinister Six in that Spider-Man game. That's what we've always wanted.
Well, exactly. I had to get
some of the greatest villain boss battles in that game. Oh my goodness, because you fight them two at a time, and you have to fight Vulture and Shocker at the same time.
Oh wow!
And then you have to fight Rhino and Scorpion at the same time.
Oh wow!
Ooh, before you finally get down to one of the newer villains, Mr. Negative.
Yes. Now, in that original one, you had Sandman, who was in the movie.
Like the old PlayStation?
Yeah, but in the I'm talking about the toys. You had the original Sinister Six.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I thought we were talking games.
No, I'm sorry. You had the original Sinister Six.
Yeah.
So you had, which was Sandman.
Vulture, Mysterio, Doc Ock, of course, leading the charge, and Kraven the Hunter.
Now, I was sitting there thinking that all of them have been in movies now, except for Kraven the Hunter.
Kraven needs to be in a movie.
And I was thinking, man, it wouldn't be that hard now for them to put them all together. But I would love to see that. That would be great.
Yeah. And, I've even said for a long time, and I like... now, all right, a lot's been said about that Spider-Man 3 game that it wasn't really that great. But one thing I did enjoy as a good aspect is they kind of brought the Lizard in as a villain, and they were able to bring Kraven the Hunter in as somebody who's hunting this lizard.
Oh.
Now, I've said it many times to you in conversation, I would love to see when they introduce the Lizard into the movies, what I would like to have seen is not only the Lizard, but having Peter knowing that that's Dr. Connors and he wants to save him.
Yes.
And then have Kraven the Hunter who just sees the Lizard as something to hunt and kill.
Yes.
So you have this whole thing where Spidey is having to fight the Lizard because the Lizard will kill him, but also trying to fight Kraven and stop Kraven from killing the Lizard because he really wants to turn him back into Dr. Connors. That would have been a fantastic story, but and we did get a Lizard already. But now we could get a new Lizard in this universe.
Yes, we could.
We could bring the Lizard in and Kraven the Hunter, so there's still a chance. All right, Disney, Marvel Studios, are you listening to me? You hearing me? I would love to see that. Do something with that story. Have the Lizard and Kraven coming to hunt the Lizard with him. And we even have, we'll get into this later, but we have definitely established a very Peter Parker Spider-Man thing where if he can save them, he will. And he sacrificed everything trying to save them in this new movie. And that would be the perfect thing to follow up where he comes across a Lizard and he will know this Lizard. Because he's now supposed to be college age. He can meet Dr. Kirk Connors, and he's now come across a Lizard from the multiverse. He will know a Lizard is, that's Dr. Connors. And so you've already got a way for him to know that he wants to try to save him again. And then you can have Kraven the Hunter show up and always getting in the way because Kraven wants to kill him. So you could do this in a movie. It could happen.
I was trying to think of
that'd be so great.
Who you could get to play Kraven. There were several people.
The Rock.
The Rock was one of them that went through my mind. Mm-hmm. And because he's, as far as looks go, he's almost a perfect combination. I'm talking looks and everything else.
Yeah, he's got a good skin tone for Kraven.
He does. He could be anything. He's anything.
If he can learn to speak with maybe a little bit of a Russian accent, I bet he could.
I think he could do it.
And he's got the build. You should believe him to be Kraven the Hunter.
He's got to be somewhat built. Because I was thinking him. And, we've already got Stallone as somebody, but I was going to say that look Stallone could have, even though he's older. But yeah, he's already going to be somebody anyway. Remember, because he's already
Sylvester Stallone is and he's a very significant character in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise.
That's right.
Still waiting for that third movie too. It should be coming soon.
But The Rock could do it.
The Rock would be great.
Yeah, I think he'd be really good.
Yes, indeed.
Plus, I would love to see him as a villain. And Black Adam is someone else.
We're going to see him.
And he could do both. He could be the first one to do not the first one necessarily, but he could do both. I think so. I think you could do both on both universes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe so. I mean, heck, you got Batman as the Vulture, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We're looking to see him very soon in the Morbius movie.
That's right. I would love to see it.
Will be back.
Oh, man, I guarantee it.
Waiting to see it. Yeah.
I would love it.
So, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much you've gotten to play it, but while we're talking about stuff you've been playing, you've got the Jurassic Park Evolution 2.
Yes, I did. And
which, when we're done with this, I want to check it out.
Oh, I was going to let you. Now, the fact is, it's a lot of fun. I haven't played of it. But I didn't know I was supposed to build fences and all that first. I was so excited to get to pick up a dinosaur.
You could. You just didn't know if you should.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's right. Speaking of which, you have the narration of Jeff Goldblum, or at least someone sounds identical. I'm pretty sure it's him. And then you have someone who does sound like, I can't think of his name right now. Anyway, the old man.
Hammond.
But what's the actor's name? I don't remember.
Oh, my goodness. And he passed away such a long time ago.
Yeah, a great actor. But I can't think of his name.
Wow. And I was just thinking about the other day because he actually made a really good Santa Claus in Miracle on 34th Street.
He did, and he was also on The Great Escape.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that movie. I need to watch that one too.
He was just a great actor, but I can't think of his name. Anyway,
wow.
He was...
people are yelling at their
Rich or something. Anyway, he was really great, but someone sounds very similar to him is also doing some on there, because you can have different basically settings. Like you can either do Jurassic World, you can do different sets of that.
I would love to just do this Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and that's what I did, because
brother,
when you start off on that, you have
please tell me the music is in there.
Jeff Goldblum is talking. You have that original music, and it shows the cars, the green cars with the little brown
Ford
stuff on there.
Explorers.
Yes, and it says something about you having complete control, and it shows if you don't have control over it, it shows also the T-Rex coming through, and you're like, oh, it's awesome. Anyway, I was setting things
checking
up.
The fences for weaknesses.
Yeah, my problem was I didn't have the fences up and everything, and so I had this one dinosaur, and I didn't have the fences up, so he fell off a cliff and died. So I have to have all my fences set up, and you have to feed them or they'll die.
Yes, you got to take care of your animals.
So it's like having a zoo, but it's really cool.
Yeah, it's like a parking simulator, but it's dinosaurs.
It's fun. So so far, I haven't done much with it because there's a lot going on Christmas and all, but so far so good. Really, really fun.
Indeedy. And sooner or later, I will start playing my new game. I got Control, which I think is a PS4 exclusive.
What's it called?
Control. And I didn't. It's one of those games that came out of kind of nowhere to me. Sort of like there's something else. I think it's a PS5 exclusive. The Reversal. I think it's a newer game, but Control, it's like you're playing as this woman who's part of a kind of a paranormal. I don't know how to explain it, but they're like a paranormal agency where they investigate paranormal stuff, and it's like a government thing. But something goes wrong in their headquarters. But she's got like telekinetic powers. But it's like a mixture between an action game and a bit of a horror game, because some scary paranormal stuff is happening too. And I played a little bit. It was on a streaming when it came out, because they wanted to get people to try it, to say, hey, we've got something special here. But it's one of those games where if they don't know it's out there, they don't know that they want to buy it. And I've been kind of looking forward to giving this a shot, and I found it. Right now it's on a holiday sale for $11.99. You get the ultimate bundle, and I got to use some Christmas money that some of my in-laws gave me, and I've bought that for myself. Then I also got the Land Shark of Masters of the Universe, because it was on sale at Target, so I had to get some more stuff. So I'm looking forward to giving that a try, but I should probably finish Red Dead Redemption 2. But that's a long and big game. My goodness.
But you'll love that. You'll have fun with that.
Yeah, I got to play me some Jurassic Park. So, alrighty. Well, I think it's time we actually get into some regular content here. We've been having fun just talking. Hopefully y'all have been having fun with us, because I don't have any actual news stuff, but we do have some stuff on the trailer park.
Mama, another gator got in the house.
Another gator? Give me that sugar. Come here.
Get him, Mama. Get that gator.
The Neverland Trailer Park.
Now, hopefully, when you saw Spider-Man No Way Home, you stayed till the very end of the credits, because there was a very special look at Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Cast that spell. It's too dangerous. Why? We tampered with the stability of space-time. The multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished. It was the only way. I never meant for any of this to happen. Wanda.
I knew sooner or later you'd show up. I made mistakes, and people were hurt.
I'm not here to talk about Westview.
I'm glad she's apologetic.
I need your help.
What she did.
With what?
What do you know about the multiverse? I'm sorry, Stephen.
I hope you understand. The greatest threat to our universe is you.
Things just got out of hand.
Now, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. They're talking about it's going to be scary.
It looks fun.
May 2022. Now let me grab into the description here. I'm having to use my laptop touchpad, so it takes me a little more time to get the stuff. What does it say about this movie? Well, not a whole lot. It's just the multiverse is a concept about which know frighteningly little. Watch the official teaser for Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, only in theaters May 6th. So, not a lot of information given on Marvel's official YouTube
birthday.
channel. Well, looky there. You can take him out for his birthday.
Won't happen. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't take that chief of police. No, I love that man.
Yeah, but looks very, very interesting. But yeah, they were talking about that this is going to be kind of almost a Marvel horror movie. It's going to be scary.
You know, that could actually open some doors because you remember, Jeremy, they used to have I don't remember what they called them now, but it was like a frightening, almost a horror type of Marvel stuff.
They did have horror comics.
Yeah, they did.
They were doing Dracula.
Do you remember though, at one point in time that they actually had a scary version of things, and they even Punisher was on it for a time because they did this really stupid thing where we had like this glowing red eyes, and they had this weird symbol on its head. Only happened for a short time in early millennium, late 90s, but I was glad they got rid of that because Morbius or somebody helped him. And anyway, but Morbius, and even though that's done by a different company at the moment, still Morbius fit into that. And Daredevil fit into that, and a few others because it was a very dark.
Well, was that part of the Marvel Knights?
Marvel Knights,
thing?
that's it.
Yeah, because I've got the Spider-Man Marvel Knights stuff, of course, because it was Spider-Man.
Because they did a kind of a darker Daredevil, and
Spider-Man was allowed to have his face punched in, and they would deal with the fact that he'd have to take multiple Tylenol or whatever, aspirin, because like the day after to
And Venom, when he started kind of going, not good guy necessarily, but kind of because Punisher,
you have a lot of the symbiote itself trying to do its own stuff.
Yeah, and Punisher obviously fit into this because a very dark side.
Daredevil,
Moon Knight, I think.
Yeah, I think Moon Knight was part of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had these people who were really the Prowler sometimes because he was sometimes went back and forth. Yeah. So what Prowler was sometimes vigilante was the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
the Punisher was really the very first who fit into that very, very well. And
because Batman I would call him a crime fighter.
Yes, people talk about him being a vigilante, but really Punisher fit that more than anyone else
because he was exercising judgment. He was killing,
and he was a villain when we first saw him.
Yeah, fighting Spider-Man. Somebody told him Spider-Man was guilty of something, and he went after Spider-Man.
It wasn't until the 70s and then big time in the 80s when he really became the vigilante that we knew because they had miniseries. I remember my brother, we kind of accidentally got him. They had a miniseries at Aldi's of all places. They came in these packages, and there was a miniseries about him being becoming his origins, about his family getting killed. And then they had a deal about him, and this goes back to Frank Miller, a lot of it. And it had a lot about him being in Vietnam. And I got to tell you, I loved it because at that time, Vietnam, Rambo, all that stuff, you could understand it a lot. Like, a lot of this has gone back to his mind. It's stuff he can't help in some ways. And
post-traumatic stress disorder kind of. You know?
And it was heroic in a sense that even though it wasn't necessarily right, he was killing murderers and drug dealers.
He was going after the bad guys, and he still does.
That's exactly right.
I punish the guilty.
I'm going to tell you something now. Now, say what you will about this. I apologize if I'm stepping on toes, but if it was nowadays and he saw people burning down stuff in the cities, he wouldn't abide it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't.
I can't abide that.
He wouldn't abide it.
Punish the guilty.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's, despite talking about all the other stuff, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which we get to see. Baron Mordo is coming back.
I look forward to it.
Trouble. And I liked the actor that got playing Mordo. He was really good.
Yes.
And I love that he was a friend. That's one of the things that's great when you get, say what you will about the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern thing, but the animated Green Lantern, where I love Sinestro being the person who's kind of taking and showing Hal the ropes before he's going to become his greatest enemy.
Yes.
And there you go. Mordo, I love, he's teaching Stephen Strange some of the way. He was helping teaching him, and he's going to become one of his greatest enemies.
Yes.
Whoo. Woo-hoo. So, all right, but let's go on. Speaking of Harry Potter 20th anniversary, HBO Max brought him back.
Think of that powerful memory. Make it the happiest you can remember.
It feels like no time has passed and loads of time has passed.
Now, a lot of the sets they keep around for tours, and I think that's what they use.
To sit down with everyone and reminisce.
The thing that scared me the most was the implication that the most meaningful thing in our life was done. And there's something so joyous about seeing everyone and be like, it wasn't though.
One of the highlights of my part was when I had to pretend to be Hermione, pretending to be Bellatrix.
I don't like to be kept waiting.
I've still got the teeth, actually. I'll put them in if you want.
My sister has children who are then around 10, 11, 12. And I said, Martha, I don't know about this Voldemort. What? You're being asked to play Voldemort? You've got to do it!
So glad he did.
Personally, without so many people here.
It's a very overwhelming thing because I've watched you grow up and I've seen kind of every stage of your life.
When things get really dark and times are really hard, there's something about Harry Potter that makes life richer.
It's a strong bond that we'll always have. We're family and we will always be part of each other's life.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yes, indeed. New Year's Day, Harry Potter 20th anniversary, return to Hogwarts.
It's less than a week.
Less than a week, yeah, buddy. See, I've got this planned out. New Year's Eve, we're going to stream and watch all of Cobra Kai Season 4. Yeah. And then New Year's Day, we're going back to Hogwarts, brother.
Sounds good, man.
I have my plans.
There you go.
I know. So, yes, definitely looking forward to that. Getting to see, of course, we know what some of the actors have done. Emma went to school in California and came out very left. But that's typical of Hollywood. Yeah. And Daniel, being the atheist that he is, has found some really weird and interesting projects that he's been a part of, including this one with he had horns. And he's done a lot of movies that I didn't want to see. Rupert Grint, I'm not sure what he's been up to because he had great comedic timing and something, and I expect him maybe in Britain, maybe he's done some comedies.
Probably.
I don't know. I'd like to see what he's been up to.
Do you know what I do for people? Right?
I have gotten to see some of these people at conventions and talk about what they've done.
Do you know what I do for people? With actors and things? It's the way I do with people because I was thinking they are people, regular people.
They are people,
and not just characters. I actually pray for them. I'm a pastor, as you know. I pray for everybody. It doesn't matter if I agree with them or not. I pray for them because I love them, and I love all people. That's what you call agape love, godly loving everybody. Yeah. That's phileo love. I pray for everybody, and so I always hope the best for everyone. Doesn't matter who they play. I want the best for everyone. So I always love to see these kinds of reunions of things.
Yeah,
because
it's nice to come together and share their memories.
As silly as it may sound, it's almost like a family reunion. You get to there's my buddy.
They're almost like old friends.
Yeah, it's like so. Whenever someone passes, it hits me, especially when I'm really emotional. A few years ago, when I had one of my brain surgeries, for some reason at that point, I found out while I was in the hospital, because I was in there at that point just a week. or 2 weeks. There were several people I loved who all passed away. Alan Rickman being one of them.
Yeah,
they all died at the same time.
Yeah,
that one of my favorite Eagles guys.
What's his name? Dwight Fry. I was going to say that. That's wrong.
Glenn Fry.
Glenn Fry.
All these people died all at once. I was like, oh my heavens, they're all gone. But anyway, it's funny that whenever I lose someone I care for, I was like, man, they it seems like family, even though they're not, but they feel like it.
Yeah, because they
they're part of your life.
It's mainly those characters that have been. Because you learn stuff from characters.
Yeah, you do.
And when you kind of spend a long time, when a character's around in a franchise or a television series for a long time, they mean something to you because you've spent so much time of your life kind of with that character.
Well, even with Glenn Fry, for instance.
Or especially with your bands and stuff. Yeah. Their music, because they go on for so long.
It's helped me for so many
times. You grow up with some of this music. Yeah. So you care.
Well, it's exactly. Glenn Fry, for instance, a couple of his songs helped me to this day and always will. Take it easy. That's his buddy and him wrote that.
Yeah. So take it easy.
That's it.
All righty. But so yes, that's coming up, of course. I don't think we have to talk too much Harry Potter. We'll get into a lot of it. Now, this is something I hadn't heard of before, but it looked kind of cute, and I guess it's based off a book. Coming to theaters April 22nd. It's called The Bad Guys, and this is basically all the fairy tale villains suddenly deciding we don't have to be so evil anymore.
Kind of something you and I used to joke around about.
Yeah.
Hey, you, get over here. Oh, I know what it is. You're afraid because I'm the big bad wolf, the villain of every story. Duh. And this is the crew: Miss Tarantula, Mr. Shark, Mr. Piranha, Mr. Snake.
Everyone copy.
Copy. We're the bad guys.
It's crime time, baby. Shark. We need a distraction.
Do I get to improvise? Fine, please be subtle. I'm having a baby! Is there a doctor? Or perhaps several security guards that could leave their post and help me?
What's funny is it's a shark in a dress there.
Be anything more than criminals. But these are the cards we've been dealt, so we might as well play them. Here, let me help you. Are you okay, ma'am?
Thank you, dear. You're such a good boy.
Wait, what?
I'm the bad guy.
Now, what you're not saying is his tail starts wagging.
Oh, good, yeah.
So he got a good boy. Because he's still a canine.
Be like if the world wasn't scared of us. Never gonna happen. Guys, we're gonna go good.
I recognize that voice.
Did you get hit on the head?
You villains have an image problem. You need a makeover.
So criminal. Well, there goes our street cred.
Well, I'm tired of being an outcast. Maybe I don't want to be a bad guy?
You're going to have to choose between your friends or the good life.
They're the only friends I've ever had.
You have a chance to write your own story. What have you got to lose?
I don't know. My dignity?
Yeah, well, that ship has already sailed.
So you're a tough guy, like a really rough guy.
That is an animal testing lab with helpless guinea pigs.
I'll rescue them.
You've never volunteered.
I already recognized by 3 or 4 voices on there.
Oh. Come on, Snake, open up. Relax. These doors are complicated.
Snake! Are you kidding me?
We're supposed to save them, not eat them. Well, I'd say they've gone to a better place.
I'm not bad side.
In theaters this April. Now, I think this is well timed because you got stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy out there where you've got basically the criminals who are trying to change and do good things, and that's pretty much what this is. And I love it. It's the big bad wolf, but it's all these different animals: snake, a spider, shark.
I recognize some voices on there.
Well, I bet the voices will be listed if I go down below for the show more. Just got to give me a second because it's a touchpad and it's harder to work than my mouse would be. It doesn't really have a whole lot. Oh, no, here it is. New action comedy from DreamWorks Animation based on the New York Times best-selling book series. A crackerjack criminal crew of animal outlaws are about to attempt the most challenging con yet, becoming model citizens. Never have there been 5 friends as infamous as the bad guys. Dashing pickpocket Mr. Wolf, Academy Award winner Sam Rockwell, also he's known for 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Sam Rockwell, he's been in a lot of stuff. Because wasn't he Guy in Galaxy Quest?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was also in Iron Man 2 as the one dude, not from AIM, but the other company that's always a pain in the neck. That is Sam Rockwell, if I'm thinking right. Yeah,
he's been a lot of things.
He's been a lot of stuff, but yeah. So I mean, he was entertaining.
He was actually the terrible killer in Green Mile.
Oh, yeah, I only saw that movie once. That's rough to watch.
He's going to be a villain. This one is why they got. I recognize a few other voices.
We've also got Seen It All Safecracker, Mr. Snake with Mark Maron from Glow. Currently, Mark Maron, I think, has been in a lot of other stuff as well. Great actor. Chill Master Disguise, Mr. Shark, Craig Robinson from The Office. Indeed, you do. And Short Fused Muscle, Mr. Piranha, which is Anthony Ramos from In the Heights. I'm not sure familiar with him. And Sharp Tongue Expert Hacker, Ms. Tarantula, which is guess who? Aquafina, she's back again. AKA also known as Webb, is apparently in this. Aquafina is just like popping up everywhere, and I've heard some people say I'm kind of getting tired of her. She's everywhere. Yeah, and sometimes she's actually entertaining, and sometimes she's not. I'm comparing the difference between she was actually really good in Shang-Chi. I liked her there, but she's really annoying in The Last Dragon. But we'll see. She's.
I like her though.
Sometimes I do. I think her name is a little silly. If I own that water company, I'd be suing the snot out of her that she's grabbed. But maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was given that name by cruel parents. I don't know. I don't know how you get that. But it says, but after countless heists and being the world's most wanted villains, the gang is finally caught. Mr. Wolf brokers a deal that he has no intention of keeping to save them all from prison. The bad guys will go good. Under the tutelage of their mentor, Professor Marmalade, which is Richard Ayoade, I don't know, from Paddington 2, an arrogant but adorable guinea pig, the bad guys set out to fool the world that they've been transformed. Oh, I thought they were really trying to go legit. Maybe they're going to go legit by accident. Along the way, though, Mr. Wolf begins to suspect that doing good for real may give him what he's always secretly longed for, acceptance. So when a new villain threatens the city, can Mr. Wolf persuade the rest of the gang to become the good guys? This also co-stars Zazie Beetz from Joker, Lily Singh from Bad Moms, and Emmy Award winner Alex Bornstein from The Marvelous Ms. Maisel. And it's classic books written by Aaron Blaby. So yeah, I didn't know anything about this until I saw this trailer the other day. I was like, that kind of looks fun. I like it. I want to watch it.
It reminds me of the stories I used to write around on. I never got to do much with them, but remember I used to have the thing about Evil.
Yeah, we were going to try to do a web series of Evil and have all these villains living in one village.
So I may still do something with that. That's a lot of fun. Evil.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's just like, imagine like Voldemort and Skeletor and Darth Vader were neighbors.
We're going to do this. We got to take that part out. Evil. Welcome to Evil.
Oh, goodness. So that comes, did I say April? Yes, I believe so.
April.
So I'm actually looking forward to that. Now, this is a different kind of trailer because this is a game. Gollum is getting his own game.
Oh, wow. That'd be fun.
And I thought I would bring it up here. I don't know if there's any dialogue in this. Maybe there is.
Don't let them see us, precious. They'll find us. They'll see us. Nasty, filthy oxes. Kill them. No, we must hide. We can't let them get their nasty, filthy handses on our flesh.
And it's The Untold Story coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, Steam. Now, this is just a little nice cinematic trailer. It's kind of an announcement. This was done, the Game Awards happened here recently.
Is it got, I can't think of his name right now.
None of the actors from the films.
Oh,
This is not based off films.
Yeah.
This is recently, Warner Brothers games. Yeah, I believe it's Warner Brothers, or maybe it's EA. They've been making a couple of Lord of the Rings games, Shadow of Mordor, and stuff like that. It's based on a lot of the game engine that drove the Arkham games with the combat. I still haven't finished the first one. There's two of those, Shadow of Mordor, and I think Shadow of War might be the other one. But you're actually getting an old told story, and I don't think they've pulled really any of this out of the actual stuff. But the character you play as is actually somebody who becomes one of the ring wraiths in that game.
Oh,
and this is trying to fill in the gap of Gollum because he's in the He's inside the Misty Mountains in those caves where there's a lot of goblins in there. And so they're kind of filling in a story there that he lives in there. And now we know that he's eaten some orcs because they don't taste very good, do they, Precious? He's eaten a few.
That's gross.
So, yeah. But it's the idea. It's like how he's lived in there in those caves for so long that are so full of goblins and whatnot. So there was some open area to come up with some story of what happened to him in between getting the ring and losing himself and no longer really being Smeagol. The one thing is having him talk to himself where he's still Smeagol and Gollum. I guess if you go early on, he might still have that, but he lost the Smeagol part of himself.
Yeah.
Until Frodo calls him Smeagol, and then he suddenly remembers, that was my name. Because he loses himself. And I even at the beginning of the Return of the King, he talks about we even forgot our own name.
Yeah, that's right.
He does. He loses himself, and he refers to it as himself, and the ring is his we. Because he's Gollum, and it's the ring, because the ring talks to him. As we know, it whispers in the voice of Sauron.
You're deep in it, son.
Oh, yes. So, having him talk to himself between Smeagol and Gollum is something that's just popularized because it happens in Lord of the Rings, but that doesn't really happen until he gets back some of his Smeagol self, because he loses himself to the power of the ring. The ring just takes him over and makes him Gollum.
You're scaring me.
So, let's see. Do we know when this is coming out? Let me scroll down just a little bit. Because the Game Awards had a lot of different things. It's coming 2022. I don't know if we know exactly when. No, we don't know when, but there's a Gollum game coming next year, is the plan. All right, what next have we got here on our list of trailers? I told you we had a lot of them, y'all.
Yes, we do.
If you listen carefully enough, the past whispers to you.
Ah.
We're here to see Albus Dumbledore.
That would be my brother.
Good music.
As we know it is coming undone. Grindelwald's pulling it apart with hate. If we're to defeat him, you'll have to trust me.
This is the team that's going to take down the most dangerous wizard in over a century. A magizoologist, his indispensable assistant. A wizard descended from a very old family, a school teacher, and a muggle.
Dumbledore asked that I give you something, Jacob. Are you kidding me right now?
Who wouldn't like our chances?
To save the world, are we? Things are not quite what they appear.
Swivel, but delicately.
I'm swiveling, are you swiveling?
The Muggles begins today!
What is this place?
The room we require.
Correct. 3 points to Hufflepuff.
Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Can I?
Very dangerous. It's very powerful. If it got in the wrong hands, mess you up.
Where did you get it?
Look out for Christmas.
April 2022. Now, all right, let's discuss. There's two big giant elephants in the room. Now, there was Yeah, there was, of course, some controversy.
Yes.
Johnny Depp was being accused of stuff by Amber Heard, who had been his ex-wife. Turned out she's a lying son of a gun. But it kind of did some damage to Johnny Depp's reputation, to where they didn't want to continue.
Yeah.
And Johnny Depp can be a little over top, but I thought he was great as Grindelwald in that last film. And I really, if they were going to have to go to somebody else, I would like Colin Farrell. I love Colin Farrell.
Yeah, me too.
But Mads Mikkelsen, I love that, because Mads Mikkelsen as a villain, I've enjoyed him since Casino Royale.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
He's great at playing. Even in Rogue One, he's such a great character. Although Rogue One, he wasn't really a bad guy.
I don't want to jump too deep into it. The only thing that I am irritated at Warner Brothers for in this situation is, I believe Warner Brothers does this, don't they?
Yes, that's Warner Brothers.
The only thing I'm irritated about is that they're not getting rid of her. And yet,
in the Aquaman films.
Yeah, they're not getting rid of her, and they've gotten rid of him.
Yeah.
I don't want them to get rid of her. I don't think they should. I don't think it should have anything to do with her movies. I don't think it should have anything to do with his. I think that he should be able to stay, and she should be able to stay.
The weird thing is Johnny Depp was still on set as a consultant for the character.
Yeah, that is odd.
That is weird, because it's like they want to keep a relationship, and Johnny Depp is apparently just kind of okay and understanding, but
it's just that kind of personal stuff should have nothing to do with it in all reality.
Unless he actually had done a crime, and he hadn't. He hasn't. I think he got accused of some horrible things, but it wasn't true. But he managed to go and prove that didn't do it, but she's done some stuff.
And in fact, they even have recordings of it.
Yeah, he had the audio, and I'm glad he's able to protect
praise
himself.
God.
Yeah.
I know what it's like, folks. I know what it's like to be accused.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to sit on this for long.
No, I don't. I really don't. I know what it's like to be accused, and all I can say is
talk about the movie.
All I can say is that it's sad that people will do that, but it can literally hurt, and I don't mean in a physical sense, but it can physically. I mean, it can hurt your career, and it's sad that they can do
your
that.
mental health, I guess.
Yeah. Emotionally, it can hurt you.
Yeah.
So at least. And I'm hoping that at least in his career, there'll be other people who give him a chance. Because I'm not saying he's the greatest guy on earth. I'm not saying that at all.
We've not seen the last of Johnny Depp. I can promise you that.
He's a great actor.
Yeah. The other elephant in the room that people have brought up is that you have a Muggle in Jacob, who we don't know what's up with the wand that Dumbledore has to give him.
Sure.
But they do talk about in the 7th book and the 7th and 8th films that if a Muggle was to have a wand, the wand has enough magical properties that you could manage to probably pull some stuff. So maybe the right wand in the hands of a Muggle, he might be able to do something to protect himself a little bit. Don't know if he learns how to do some stuff. Well, we'll see what that is. But a lot of people were bringing up that this seems to be J.K. Rowling changing some of her rules, because a Muggle should not even be able to see Hogwarts. But now, see, here's the thing. And you even have a line in the 3rd film, 3rd book. Well, Muggles just don't see these things, do they? Now, see, a squib is the same thing as a muggle. What's the difference between a squib and a muggle? They know that this stuff exists. That, to me, is why they can see stuff, because if you know it's there, you'll notice it. Now, Jacob has become more like a squib, because he knows, he has seen it.
Yeah.
So he knows this stuff exists. So if they take him to Hogwarts, suddenly he can see that Hogwarts exists.
Well, it's kind of like
that to me. So I don't have a problem with that. But some people were like trying to fuss about that. I'm like, no. Yeah, see, if you were an average Muggle, you didn't know it was there. Magic works where you wouldn't notice it. But it's the old saying: seeing is believing, or believing is seeing. So he doesn't see it to believe it; he believes it. Because of course he saw it to believe it, but now that he believes it, he can see it.
Yeah,
because he did see magic, so he knew it was there.
It's
but
kind of like that scene
belief has enabled him to see all the things.
Scene you're saying, like that scene from Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, where he did, he couldn't see that bridge,
right?
But once
he had to step in faith.
Now he stepped in faith, and he saw it was there the whole time. But now he sees it completely.
Yeah.
He knows it's there.
Yeah, and Jacob has seen magic, so he believes it all. So he's ready to be able to see stuff that Muggles and non-Mags would not normally see. They would just kind of ignore it because that's the way magic works in their
the
world.
Great thing is when you're the writer, you can change things to your own. I'm not talking about going against what you said, but you say, "Oh yeah, but what I meant was," and you could do that. You're the writer.
She just adds that extra detail that we just didn't know yet.
The little spice.
Because there was people that were upset finding out that Credence, when he found his real name, that he is a brother of Dumbledore. There were people upset at that. It's like, well, you didn't mention it before. Would you want her to not introduce anything new when she tells you a new story? Yeah. Come on, people.
So what, though?
She introduced something new that you just didn't know. Just because it wasn't mentioned in the other books doesn't mean it can't have existed.
Exactly.
She just didn't use it as part of the story. So I've enjoyed that series. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this.
People do that all the time with things. A lot of historical things, truthful things, they do it all the time because they didn't know about it. Doesn't mean it's not true.
Right. So that's coming up this April. I'm excited. I've not only watched the movies and bought the movies, but they released the screenplays because J.K. Rowling is writing these herself. I've collected them as books in the series. Now, I also own a copy of The Cursed Child, but Rowling didn't write it, and to me, that's I didn't like it at all. I don't consider that part of the canon.
I didn't read that. What is
The Cursed Child? That is the play that they were doing in England, which I think is coming to the States. It really screws up everything.
Who's it about?
It's about his kids.
Oh, okay.
And what they did is they took one little throwaway bit where his son's like, well, what if I am put in
I remember that.
Wow.
The
Slytherin. Wow, that just went right on my head. I was like, what if I put it? So they took the idea, well, what if he did go into Slytherin?
Yeah,
and
try to make a Darth Vader out of nothing.
Yeah, and they go and they time travel and they screw up everybody's story that you know.
Yeah, that's dumb.
And I did not like it. Okay, now this next one, I was excited to see it. The funny thing is, and we're still gonna listen to this audio, but on YouTube, this trailer became like an advertisement that you get before you try to the video you click on. Oh, whoop! Here's this trailer. So I'm pretty sure you've seen this trailer, but I'm still excited.
Yes.
Sonic 2.
Quick stretch, little snack, and here we go.
Sonic, I love that you want to help make a difference.
Mind if I drive?
But you're being reckless.
Don't worry, nobody's gonna get hurt.
Pretending to be Batman.
Blue Justice, trademark pending.
You're still just a kid.
Woohoo!
Trust me, there will come a moment when your powers will be needed. But you don't choose that moment. That moment chooses you.
I just got goosebumps. Wait a second, did you steal that from Oprah? He's back!
Papa's got a brand new stash.
Since I've been gone, I've discovered the source of ultimate power.
Chaos Emeralds!
That sounds big. It's been on my vision board for years.
Hope I'm not too late.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Name's Tails.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Step 1, light taunting. Step 2, I have no idea. That wasn't too bad. Today's forecast calls for a 100% chance of adventure. Return to sender. Face it, you're never going to get my power.
Do I look like I need your power? Where are my manners? Sonic, meet Knuckles.
April 8th, 2022, coming to the theater, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, where not only did we get Tails thrown in, but now I don't think I really played any Sonic games past the second one where Tails was introduced.
I did.
But Knuckles.
Well, I used to
which
play,
I know is your fan favorite as well.
Yeah, we used to play, my buddy Seth and I used to play them, and Knuckles, I want to say, came in the third one.
I believe so.
I could be wrong about that, but I remember we used to play it, and of course we always got excited. Seth and his little brother Eric, who, in memory of him, we used to play that, and he loved it. We used to have such a good time, and Seth used to tease Eric a lot with Tails and Knuckles and all that, so we used to always talk about that and had a good time. And Knuckles was a villain. Later on, they made him a hero and all that, and that was fun. I don't know. I don't want to ruin anything in case they decide to do that.
I'm sure they will.
But how nice for Jim Carrey that you can kind of just have a good time, because you don't really have to act much in there. You just act goofy and fun, which, let's be honest, is what Jim Carrey does.
Yeah, Dr. Robotnik is a perfect character for him.
It's perfect. It's absolutely
perfect. It was so
perfect.
much fun. It was like he was back, man.
Oh yeah, I just got to have a good time. Mm-hmm. I looked this up. But here's the thing. At first, it took me a while to realize this was the real preview because at first there were so many fakes. I don't know why people get a kick out of doing that, making fake previews.
trailers.
But in that case, this one, I knew it was real. And it came up the day after I was looking up for ones. My nephew was nuts about the old, the games and all, the Mario and the Sonic. And he's so much fun to do all this stuff with. And he and I watched this stuff together. We watched Sonic together. We watched the A Diary of the Wimpy Kid new show. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, I haven't watched that one.
That was fun.
I've been meaning to.
He has every single one of those books, and we watch all that stuff together. And I have fun. We watched the Home Alone together.
The new one.
In truth, I watch a lot of things with him, for him.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
And that's not to say I like every little thing, but for his sake, I like it that he likes it. That's how I do like my father did for me.
Yeah,
watch a lot. Some shows are garbage, some shows are not, but for his sake, I think they're all awesome. For his sake.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to have a fun moment,
right. But here's what it says here from Paramount. The world's favorite blue hedgehog is back for next little adventure in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 after settling in Green Hills, which I love the fact they call it Green Hills. Cool. Sonic is eager to prove he has what it takes to be a true hero. His test comes when Dr. Robotnik returns, this time with a new partner, Knuckles, in search for the emerald that has the power to destroy civilizations. Chaos Emeralds.
It's
about time.
Robotnik.
Sonic teams up with his own sidekick, Tails, and together they embark on a globe-trotting journey to find the emerald before it falls into the wrong hands. This is the filmmakers behind The Fast and the Furious and Deadpool, of all things. You got James Marsden, Ben Schwartz, both of them back, Tika Sumpter, Natasha Rothwell, Adam Pally, and Jim Carrey returns alongside new additions Shimara Moore with Idris Elba as the voice of Knuckles. Heck yeah. Oh, and Colleen O'Shaughnessy, the original voice of Tails.
Oh, that's
is
cool.
Playing Tails in the movie.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
That is fantastic. It would have been kind of cool, actually, if they'd got Jaleel White to come and be Sonic, because I know he was Sonic in the animated, the original animated series on ABC. Would have been cool to have him come back and do it. But Ben Schwartz, I think, has been great as Sonic. I loved him.
The weird thing about that was they had two Sonic shows start at the same time.
Yeah, they had a Saturday morning.
They had a Saturday morning. They had the TV show on whatever it was, a show. I know it was on Channel 62, but they had two of them going at the exact same time. So it was odd. One of them was real, like, goofy looking. That was the one that was the everyday, and then they had one that was on the Saturday morning cartoon that looked a lot more fancy and it had side characters.
Yeah, you spend more money on the Saturday morning cartoons back in the day.
And it was done in such a way where you had side characters that were like, it was like a team. And I enjoyed all the team characters. That's where you got like Tails and other characters like that with you. I enjoyed those characters. And I remember on some of the future games, they put some of those characters in there. You had like a female Sonic character. She was like pink or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you had like another, I don't know.
They started doing like 3D games, which... some of them went over well, some of them didn't, I guess. I haven't really followed up on Sonic.
I really
much.
enjoyed some of those characters and started really liking them.
I started playing a PlayStation. I wasn't playing Sega games
I don't
anymore.
remember. It seems like there was a mole of some sort or something like that.
I don't know.
But there were different characters I liked, and I thought, man, I wish they would do that. That's where Knuckles also came in on that show, and it seemed like one of the voices that they had, I could be wrong, please don't, get mad at me if I'm wrong. It seemed like Matthew Fuhrer was Robotnik on one of those. I could be wrong.
He'd have been a great Robotnik.
I think he was.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
For those that don't know, you might have seen him in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He was the original voice of Max Headroom. Yes, right.
He was Max Headroom.
He was Max. Yeah, true. He was Max Headroom with a weird thing on his head and stuff.
He was even Pink Panther's voice.
Right.
The only Pink Panther that spoke. Yeah.
And back with the 90s, they had a Pink Panther cartoon with him. Yep.
95, 96.
He's very funny.
Oh, he's great.
He's done a lot of good stuff.
Do you know what I found out the other day about him?
What?
You remember that Star Trek The Next Generation episodes where he was supposed to be from the past, pretending to be from the future, and he traveled through? That was supposed to be
vaguely.
That was supposed to be Robin Williams in that episode.
Huh.
But what happened, because Whoopi Goldberg was on the show?
Right, as Guinan.
He wanted to be on the show, Robin Williams. He loved Star Trek.
Huh.
He wanted to be on the show, but unfortunately, when it came time to do that episode, he was busy filming Hook. And he really, it stinks because it would have been great if he could have done both. But unfortunately, when the time came for them to film it, things are on such a schedule that they got Matthew Fuhrer to do it. And I love Matthew Fuhrer, but it's such a shame.
Didn't Matt Fuhrer play the genie in the Aladdin series?
No, that was the original Homer Simpson voice.
That's what I was thinking. It was either him or Homer Simpson.
Yeah, it was the original Homer Simpson voice.
Yeah, I knew it was one of the two.
But Robin Williams came back to do the third film. third film, which is Aladdin, where he met his father, which was
right.
which is what's his name?
I didn't know which third film we're talking about because we were talking Star Trek as well.
I'm sorry. The third film, which is had John Rhys Davies.
John Rhys Davies.
Whatever.
Yeah, I know. It's hard when you look at his name. It's hard until you hear him say his name. You don't know.
What a great show!
John Rhys Davies.
What a great show! That was a good movie. I enjoyed that.
I don't know if I watched that one. I know I saw Return of Jafar. I don't remember if I saw the third movie.
There's a good music in it. Even there's a good love song in there, and I love the whole concept of his father being the.
That was where they had the Prince of Thieves or King of Thieves.
He was the King of Thieves, the Prince of Thieves.
And they were doing the Alabama. Where
Yeah.
it's the Open Sesame thing or something. Maybe I did see it.
It was really good. I liked that one.
I know I've got one of the songs off of there on a CD collection of villain songs, rascal songs, where I've got this strange things are happening to me, which is the reason that I bought that CD because I wanted that song. It's a great tune for Toy Story, and I bought the CD just mainly for that one. And I got a lot of really kind of fun villain songs on this.
Yes,
good stuff. Good
show.
So yes. Did I have anything more to add to that? But yeah, Sonic. So Sonic's coming up. All right, I got one last. I want to make sure
I wonder what show.
The right thing. Okay,
I wonder what restaurant ought to be promoting that.
Sonic?
There you go.
Think they would have gotten on board. Okay, a second trailer has come out for the upcoming Uncharted movie.
Oh.
Hey, kid. A little young for a bartender, aren't you?
A little old for prom, aren't you?
Everything in here. Why the map?
It's the biggest treasure that's never been found.
5 billion, easy.
But it's just a story.
I beg to differ.
$500 years ago, my family found the world's biggest fortune, then was betrayed. People have been searching for it all in vain.
Both you turning the keys clockwise at the same time.
Thanks a lot. You almost got me killed.
Clockwise, Sully!
Well, it was 50-50, so I made a guess.
Clearly.
But the voyage was not just about gold. It was something much more valuable. This cross has a very tragic history. So much blood.
I'm pretty sure he's just threatening to kill me. Oh, this is gonna suck!
Don't get caught.
You were just gonna leave me back there.
Somebody had to get the cross.
February 18th.
Your brother believed that there was a final piece.
Well, you know my brother's sick.
You have no idea who you're partnered with.
What else aren't you telling me?
The victor is spoils.
How are they gonna get them out of here?
This is gonna be fun. Very Indiana Jones-ish.
Exactly.
I like it a lot.
And you haven't played these games yet?
I want to see you and a couple of us play it, but no, I'm not ever gonna play it.
What is that thing on your face?
Yeah, puberty's right around the corner, kid. You can grow your own.
Yeah, because Sully, the mustache on Sully is famous. I mean, he has to have the mustache. So finally, the last shot, we finally see the Sully stash.
Yes.
But so this is Tom Holland as Nathan Drake and not Baldwin. Mark Wahlberg as Sully. Now, the one character that's missing, but I guess if this is a younger Nathan Drake than what we normally get in the games, he hasn't met his future wife, this reporter, the blonde. But we do get to see him meeting Chloe, who's a character we see in the second game, and they have given Chloe her own game, and I haven't played that one yet. I do own a copy of it digitally, which, by the way, I own digital versions of the trilogy of the original three games that were PS3. You have access to everything I own, brother, because we were listed as family, so you should be able to download them onto your PS5s and still play them.
Thank you, Dad.
We'll do that here when we get it rolling. Oh, yes, we are brothers from other books. What is this? Is this an actual thing? Marvel project coming in 2022 that we can't wait for, but I don't know if that's legit. Looks like there's a picture somebody's made of Natalie Portman as the new Thor. Which we might see in the next Thor movie. All right, let's see if there's anything that that Sony Pictures has put onto their YouTube channel. Street Smart Thief Nathan Drake, played by Tom Holland, is recruited by seasoned treasure hunter Victor Sully Sullivan, Mark Wahlberg, to recover a fortune lost by Ferdinand Magellan 500 years ago. What starts as a heist job for the duo becomes a globe-trotting, white-knuckle race to reach the prize before ruthless Moncada Antonio Banderas, love him, who believes he and his family are the rightful heirs. If Nate and Sully can decipher the clues and solve one of the world's oldest mysteries, they stand to find $5 billion in treasure, and perhaps even Nate's long-lost brother, Sam, which, the interesting thing about this is they've incorporated elements from all 4 of the Nathan Drake games into this. But only if they can learn to work together. Now, this doesn't match up exactly with, because we've gotten in the games how Nathan met Sully as a young boy. We've also seen even a younger Nathan Drake in another flashback with him and his brother Sam, because Sam became a major character in the 4th game. So we've actually been given the story, but they're not matching the games. They're going to, their own way when Nathan met Sully. Because we also have a slightly older, Tom Holland's in his mid to late 20s, I think, by now.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be seem to be too young to be a bartender as is, hiding out there. But, Uncharted, to me, is what, and I think Tomb Raider's tried to follow, although Tomb Raider is trying to be more gritty, I think, than Uncharted. But Uncharted is what Tomb Raider maybe should have been.
Yeah.
Because I've enjoyed it personally. Other than old Tomb Raider, I couldn't get into old Tomb Raider. I haven't played the new Tomb Raiders. I do own it, but I haven't tried it out. But Uncharted hit that perfect thing. What Tomb Raider wanted to be like a woman who was Indiana Jones, I think, a little bit. Mm-hmm. Nathan Drake really fit to be almost an Indiana Jones, overly modernized, and there's a lot more gunplay. And it's one of the best cover shooters, but not only was cover shooting, but you had a lot of, climbing up interesting things and a lot of mysteries of solving, because the first one, he's now you kind of find out later he might not actually be related to Sir Francis Drake, but he has this ring that belonged to Sir Francis Drake that he wears around his neck. That's actually the key to the first treasure he goes after in the first game. But like Indiana Jones, when he goes and finds whatever the treasure is, it turns out there's something almost supernatural with that item that causes something horrible, and he can't really bring it home, and he can't really collect on what the money would be worth, because the lost city of gold is actually got something, a horrible secret that could destroy the world if he doesn't stop the villain from getting it, just like Indiana Jones.
I do want to see it.
They're fantastic games. If they did this movie right, you're gonna love this movie, but you gotta play the games, brother. You love these games.
Now, you're talking about the Tomb Raider. Now, the old ones to me seem like now I realize they didn't have great technology then, but for what they had, it almost seemed like they were trying to Jessica Rabbit her.
The funny thing about they kind of Jessica Rabbited her later, but really it was because of the polygons. They couldn't help it. She ended up looking.
I know that. She couldn't help it.
But they utilized that shapeliness later. They sure did. Although in the modern redo of Lara Croft, they've normalized her. The only problem I have with the newer look of Lara Croft is she's almost too scrawny. She doesn't look as tough as she seemed in the original games.
She was very tough.
It's not believable. Some of I've seen some footage of the games. That's why I was hesitant to play it, but I want to try it out.
Yeah.
The falls and injuries she takes, the way she looks like it would break her. Yeah. And even the actress they have for that movie they did here a couple of years ago, I didn't see it because she looked like the injuries that she would sustain would break her. I need a Lara Croft that looks like she can take it.
You're saying what you need is someone at least who's tough, like one of the tougher wrestler women.
I want to not a model if they decide to teach to wrestle, but a woman who grew up. So I want to wrestle.
And you're not necessarily talking like Hercules, the woman, but
something about I don't want her to look like if she
someone like
tripped over a rose petal, she'd break.
Someone like Charlotte Flair, who at least looks tough.
Yeah, someone who looks tough and strong, because Lara Croft is supposed to be very capable. Yeah, and the new look, she doesn't look capable to me.
Not Alexa Bliss, but Charlotte, who's at least
or even
tough.
Not just Charlotte Flair, but
there's a few who are in between.
The Anvil's daughter, Natalia.
Yes,
Natalia, a woman who looks like she can scrap, and she looks tough.
She looks tough, yeah. She looks like she could handle.
That's what I'd like, because I don't know. Granted, you couldn't do a lot with the polygons, but something about the old design of Lara Croft, she looked kind of tough, and the new design she looks fragile,
had broad shoulders,
and it's like that's not what Lara Croft should look like. Yeah. But some of the stuff that they have her survive is ridiculous, because no one would actually survive it. It's a little silly. But it's time we get into some movie reviews.
Want to see a movie?
Yeah. Any good? It was bad?
I'm fuzzy on the whole good-bad thing.
My eyeballs could have been sucked from their sockets.
I like it a lot.
The best movie ever made.
A Fandom Nexus movie review.
A movie review, more like we got 3 of them. We almost had 4, but we didn't get a chance to see American Underdog yet. But let's start with, this is kind of almost in order of release, almost, except for Encanto has been out in theaters, and we just got a chance to check it out on Disney Plus, and it just wouldn't put out a couple days ago, I think, like Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, so Spider-Man No Way Home. And now I'll say there are a couple things that I was kind of like, but for the most part, great movie. But
I loved it.
Michelle, I'm not going to call her MJ. She's Michelle. Yeah. She started to have some of that old personality come back there at the beginning of the movie that I didn't like in the first film.
Yeah.
But we muted it out and made up for it later. The only other thing that I would complain about is Peter Parker gets a really bad legal case put against him. And the only thing we see to deal with it is Matt Murdock showing up, which I love that.
That was great.
But then it's just dropped. That's supposed to be one of the major. I thought they built it up like it was going to be this major thing, and then they just kind of forgot about it. It's like, that doesn't go away. That's a accused murder. Granted, the only evidence they have is what Quentin Beck had said as Mysterio, because they didn't realize Mysterio was evil, and they only have his word that he's the one who killed me. They only have his word. I guess they just didn't have any other evidence. But it just seems like that whole thing got dropped, and it was just never mentioned again.
Yeah,
that bugged me. I was like, and then I've had Scott from Disney Indiana says, well, Matt Murdock is just that good of a lawyer, I guess. Because as soon as he shows up, it's just you never hear about it again, and that bugged me. I was like, because part of what's triggers Peter to go to Doctor Strange to have people forget who he is that him being accused of stuff is what's kind of getting his friends in trouble.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil too much on the movie, but I feel like they could have carried that. But other than that was so much fun. And the only other thing that would kind of bug me is I really feel like yes, I understand there's people like, we already know what happened to Uncle Ben. We get it. They took Uncle Ben's motto and gave it to Aunt May, but yet they wanted to have Aunt May have her theme, which I appreciate. This was on her gravestone, that if you help someone, you help everyone. That is what Aunt May's taught Peter.
Yeah.
So I like that was there, but I would have liked just even simply when Aunt May is going to tell Peter that, it's like, you remember what your uncle used to always say? Something even like that before she tells him.
Yeah,
I would have appreciated that, because I was like, well, okay. But what makes this awesome is by the time we get to the end is one thing I felt lacking in these other Tom Holland Spider-Mans. I didn't feel the weight necessarily of the with great power comes great responsibility. It didn't seem like he felt that weight.
Yeah.
And by the end of this film, he feels that weight of the responsibility. And you see him make choices based on that by the end of the film. But the problem I have is how he learns the lesson that Uncle Ben of with great power comes great responsibility is when he does not act, bad things happen that he could have stopped had he acted. In this film, he acts and he's doing the right thing. Something bad happens, but something bad happened because he was doing the right thing. That's not how you learn the lesson of great responsibility, because he was already doing the right thing.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
So they messed up part of what makes him that way, but yet I feel like we got there in the end. So I do have a couple problems with it, but other than that, I loved it. I had so much fun in this film. I loved seeing all of our old friends coming back again. That's what it felt like. It was like a reunion with all the... Because, really, once we see Doc Ock come back, that movie just launched into the stratosphere of being fantastic.
Well, one thing that's true in this film, though, is one reason why he wasn't doing the right thing when he was doing the right thing was sometimes you assume everyone's thinking the way you are, which they're not. That doesn't mean that he wasn't doing the right thing. It's just that he was assuming that and I can't say everything, of course, I don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah.
But he was assuming the good in everyone, which is good and nice, but sometimes you have to use common sense too. You can't just assume, and it's a hard balance in life. I've done it so many times, being a pastor even, but even before that. And it's really irritating? It's when you do the right thing and you try to be nice and loving, and people call you stupid for it. And then I've heard that so many times. Oh, you should have done this. And then when you do that thing later on towards the same situation or whatever, when it comes to you again, And then the same person that told you that, I mean, I'm not kidding, the same people that tell you that, they'll say, well, you shouldn't have done that. You feel like saying, well, I'll tell you what, take this message and shove it. And that I don't mean you literally say that, but you feel that way.
Yeah.
And so in this situation with the
you don't always get rewarded for doing the right thing.
That's right. No matter which way you do it. It's almost like some of the old Star Trek films and things. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but some of the Star Trek episodes, one of the best ever is when Kirk gets to go back in time and saves a woman from dying who ended up being Elizabeth. What's her last name? Anyway, a really famous actress. I just can't think of her name right now. But she ends up being saved from a car wreck. And it turns out that she's supposed to be a famous woman. Her death ended up making wonderful things happen, which is horrible. I mean, not that it necessarily would have happened like that for real, but it ended up being that he had to let her die. And he had to go back and save McCoy, see? And
the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
So he ended up having to go back and let her die. And it was a horribly hard, difficult thing for him to do. But it's just the way it was, that one way or another, someone was going to have to die, or it was going to, if she didn't die, the whole world was going to come to an end pretty much. Some terrible thing.
Which is something, it's what makes the PlayStation 4 Spider-Man game so great. I mean, two things: as you get an origin for Doc Ock, but you have Otto Octavius as a mentor and a friend, and when Peter's working with him, making things, and the portrayal of the end, especially I'm hoping y'all have played this game. This game's been out like 3 years now, but by the end, where Doc Ock knew that Peter was Spider-Man, and yet caused him so much trouble, but also the responsibility. Because that's the tragedy of being Peter Parker. All his villains, somehow or another, it's somehow personal, some way.
Very much so.
But the responsibility he has. But by the end, we talk about, of course, the Devil's Breath plague that's been unleashed. He finally gets a bit of cure. But it's not enough. They need to use it to synthesize to make enough cure for everybody. But yet Aunt May is dying right there. And he's so tempted to just take that cure. But if he one drop of it even goes to Aunt May to cure her, there wouldn't be enough to save everyone else. And all he would have saved was Aunt May. Mm-hmm. And so he has to make that decision at the end of the game. And that's one of the things this film captured so well, is Peter was going to do the right thing. Because he was like, wait a minute, can we save these people? Now, the question being, somebody brought this up, is all right, you've saved, I don't want to say exactly what these villains, but when they go back to their own part of the multiverse and their timeline where they were taken from, aren't they going to die anyway? Not necessarily, because they could, maybe them getting whatever, I don't want to get into it, but maybe being saved changes what happens at the end, because Norman would not have launched his glider at Spidey because he killed himself. Now, Doc Ock had made a change for good, but depending upon where he was taken from, he might have had a chance to, because he came into his own mind at the end of the film. But also, he's in this movie, he gets completely fixed up to where he's not getting influenced by his herbs. He's in control. So we don't know what would happen when they went back and they're in control, or they're cured of whatever caused them to have their powers or whatever.
Not to overthink it.
Yeah, but people were like, well, they're still going right back to the moment right before they died. Not necessarily. It doesn't mean they're going to right before they died, but we know it's before they died. But the nice thing is, it's not. They didn't die because Spider-Man killed them. They died by their own hand, and so maybe by them not going in with their powers, maybe they don't end up killing themselves.
Maybe Doc Brown taped it all back together on that note.
Marty, I've got it all. Yeah, I decided, what the heck?
That's right.
So I don't want to spoil anything, but that's one of the major themes of this film is, and this is where he ends up having, you've seen the trailers, so I don't think I'm ruining too much. He's going to have some problems with Doctor Strange. They're going to disagree. And the thing is Doctor Strange is like, send them back before they die. I don't care. At least we got to save the multiverse. But Peter's like, if I can save them, and it's something I like that Aunt May did say something like, well, shouldn't you try to help them? And then Peter's like, no, wait, if we can save these people, I don't want to just send them. I feel like if I send them back, I feel like then I am killing them. Maybe if I can do something to change it and alter what happens to them in their own universe. And we don't get to see what happens when they go back to their own universe. And I hope I'm not spoiling too much, but that's I like that, because that's Peter. That's what he does.
What I would like to see,
he felt definitely more like Peter Parker in this movie.
I would like to see some of them get brought back for a Sinister Six. That's what I want. Well,
they can pop out of the MCU, the modern MCU, because all these characters popped up were from different universes, but they can still pop up in this one. Oh, and one thing I like, I don't want to give away too much, but did you notice in the clouds when the universes were going to collide, there was a actual regular, not a robotic looking, but a regular looking rhino silhouetted in the clouds like he was a real rhino. I recognized the silhouette of Rhino. I was like, ooh, I thought it was so cool.
Good, because I hated that robotic one.
Yeah.
I like the actor.
Yeah. But yeah, they could do a much better Rhino if they really tried.
He was busy being Santa Claus at that moment.
yeah. Was it Fred Claus?
Fred Claus.
Yeah. That is a pretty fun movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but overall, I had a great time with this movie.
Yeah, me too.
Had a lot of fun. It was so nice seeing old friends, and I feel like they spent some time kind of correcting some things where they kind of got a little off chart a little bit.
And you got to kind of see a finale.
A finale of where we're headed.
But even for the Spider-Mans, we know they're in it by now. People know that the Spider-Man from...
Yeah, hopefully, because they tried to keep that hidden. Even Tom Holland was lying and denying it all over the place.
You know
and
they're
there was... Because when I watched the trailer, people were saying, no, in the trailer, you could see the lizard getting hit by something. And I saw the footage where the lizard was supposed to be hit, but they cut it out of that trailer. And I kept saying, it's like, I'm not seeing it. So until I see it, because they're keeping a secret, I don't want to get my hopes up.
I assumed. And when I saw...
I was excited at the prospect of the original two coming back.
To see the all three Spider-Men together, what I loved was you got to see they basically... Well, I can't remember the second one's name.
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield, who was my least favorite of the Spider-Man, I'll be honest with you. I didn't like his Spider-Man movies much. I didn't dislike him so much, but the Lizard was my favorite of the two of the films. I couldn't stand the Electro one.
They made him very cool in this one.
They made him great. They fixed him.
Yeah.
And they made him the way he should have been.
Even.
Oh, Electro was great. I love the actor, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
And they made him awesome in this, the way he should have been.
Yeah.
And they did make him look like a Power Ranger villain. And the other thing is he comes in that way. But what was great too is he even got to Andrew Garfield even kind of spoke about things that happened. He talked about the death of his girlfriend.
Yeah, Toby got to talk about a little bit what happened after his stuff. I would love to have him mention that he's got a daughter named May now.
Oh, yeah, there's so much.
Because he's that much older, time should have passed.
They got to speak about, all three of them got to speak about things, and they hint, even at things that they were funny too, like, I had a villain named this, and my girl's name was this, and my blah, blah.
Yes, the conversations were great.
The three of them together was great.
It was enough to where people are saying, hey, can we get another Andrew Garfield? Give him an Amazing Spider-Man 3. Can we get that happen? It became trending.
And Toby would be fun for one last... I don't know if he ever will,
I still wanted to see... John Malkovich is the Vulture. They were going to do that. I'd love to have seen that.
That'd be great, man.
Yes.
Even if it... But the thing is what their age even... We got computer effects nowadays.
Yeah, if we needed to. But, we can have Toby as a slightly older Spider-Man. That's fine.
I wouldn't mind. That'd be great.
That'd be fine. So there is one thing, speaking of Electro, that I did see someone point out, and they actually got a point. There's kind of an oops. The reason why everybody comes into this universe is because of the whole thing of trying to get people that knew him to end up not knowing. So only people that knew that Spider-Man was Peter Parker were supposed to be brought in. Electro never knew that was Peter Parker. Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. But I don't care. I enjoyed it.
He needed fixed. He needed fixed, and they did it.
Plus, goodness, Ray. I forgot his last name. And his name's not Ray, but he was so great in Ray.
Yeah,
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. Yeah,
he is really a great actor, and I love him getting a chance to actually do much better than what they gave him.
And if you've never seen the fact that he started, I used to watch. I
don't know why I keep calling him Ray though, but he was really good as Ray Charles
in Living Color.
But anyway,
is where he started all the stuff. Yeah, he was so good in that show and so funny. And that's where he started. So if you saw that him and Jim Carrey and others started off in that show, and right along with Damon Wayans.
He popped up in something I was watching here lately.
I'm telling you, Jamie was so great on that show that he would make fun of he's like, look, now I'm going to do the Velociraptor, and he'd do this funny walk as a Velociraptor. He was hilarious.
Yeah, because he used to be a stand-up comedian, I guess, at some point. But he's such a great actor.
Oh, he is.
So Robin Williams kind of surprised you because he's such a funny guy, but Robin Williams he was a fantastic actor.
He could make you cry.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah.
Patch Adams, and then Awakenings.
Yes.
Awakenings, if y'all have not seen that one.
Yeah, he was on just about anything he could do. If you just pushed him, man, even in the movie Jumanji.
Yeah.
When he's talking about the fact that he was in the jungle all that time, and he was scared to death.
Okay, sorry.
He was in the jungle all that time, and he's like, I'm not going back. His eyes had this tear in him. He was terrified, and you're like, wow, that guy could act.
Robin Williams was great.
Oh man,
yes,
I loved him. He could, man. He sometimes would bring me to tears. Even on Mork and Mindy, when he'd be really bring it to the. He was great.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But anyway, so overall, we recommend Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, I love it.
My favorite of these 3 movies, definitely, I'd say. And I definitely, I mean, Far From Home, I definitely liked a lot better than Homecoming.
Yeah.
But this one, it was just so much fun. But the ensemble of the villains and giving everybody another chance to
And the
kind of...
Spider-Man, yep.
And the Spider-Man, fantastic.
Spider-Man.
Fantastic. And I
Love
even
him
like
now.
there was a
I
slight
loved him
nod
then.
almost to Miles Morales at one point.
Yes,
Yeah, and people are like, can we see Miles pop up sometime? But, Miles has got his own movies, and I'm looking forward to his next
Yeah,
one.
me too.
But let's talk about the next movie in this in our trilogy of movies to review, The Matrix Resurrections.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. All right, I have learned something because I was trying to do my research, do my homework, because I had been seeing some people that had some criticisms, and right now the reviews on them are kind of so-so, about 6. And part of the problem is I knew of that, I think his name used to be Larry before, now he is like Lana Wachowski, but also his used-to-be brother is now Lily Wachowski. They have both transitioned. They both have some definite political leanings, and there was some talk between them and the writers that they were trying to use the analyst character to skewer right wing, but I think they failed at that. But they were trying to get political, and I guess part of some thoughts they've tried to retcon back the original Matrix that the part of the red pill is some sort of an analogy for transitioning. I never have got that out of those films. I didn't even get what they were trying to do in this one, because really in this movie, the analyst saying stuff like he was very more left wing, because he's talking about, this is things that trigger you and how easy it is that people will ignore facts for emotions. That to me is people of one more political persuasion, the left more than the right. So I felt like he skewered the left. Apparently there were some political motivations. I don't think it came through in this movie. I don't have the same issues that I've seen some people complain about. I had fun with this.
You too.
The only thing with the movie is this. I mean, the funny thing is at the beginning they make fun of how this movie gets made. Because really, I mean, the first movies, there's a lot of philosophy and stuff to kind of make you think. Well, that's an interesting thought. This one didn't really have that, except for maybe a little bit in the beginning, because when they mentioned, well, maybe you were meant to take the red pill. So, did you really choose the red pill, or were you just supposed to do that? Was it really a choice? That was an interesting thought. And then we had the meta bit where it turns out Neo has made these games that are the Matrix trilogy stories. And they exist in this new Matrix. So you have that little bit of a meta coming around. I had a point I was going with that, now I forgot. But having that meta of was he meant to do it? Is he following a plan, or did he really make a choice? I mean, you have that level where it seems to be smart, but I now remember where I was going with this. But they talk about, Warner Brothers has ordered a sequel, and now we don't know. Do we want to reboot your series, add a 4th part to your trilogy? That, to me, how that was very, very meta, because that's really what this movie was. It wasn't, we've got a great idea for a Matrix story. It was, let's fix some of the things we kind of messed up in that third one that people didn't like. That we killed some people, the people that weren't happy that they killed them. I don't want to say any more because I don't want to spoil anything. And also, some of the ending of that, and also you get the idea that this was a money grab. It's let's make it, because nostalgia is money right now. If you put enough nostalgia, we'll go and we'll spend money on it. I didn't spend any money because I watched on HBO Max. I streamed it. But of course, they're still going to get money from the streaming service anyway. But it's them making that commentary that Warner Brothers has ordered a sequel to your games is also the same way the movie comes about. Warner Brothers wants more money. Let's make a 4th Matrix movie. And what this isn't a deep, in-depth Matrix with a lot of philosophy. This is just fun. It's popcorn. Yeah. It was a lot of great sequences, a lot of good action, a bit of humor. It's a good time, but it is nowhere near the caliber of what the original 3 was. But it's a good time, and it's worth watching.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
You can have it fun.
The truth is, I was never a huge fan of the original films, but I liked them now that I watch them, and I don't try to think too much into them. But I enjoyed it. But that being said, I didn't get too much into it as far as I try not to get too much of the philosophies of things. I just enjoy watching.
Well, that was kind of the crucial thing, is they each movie had except for the third one. The third one was more like we're trying to survive this whole invasion of.
And I didn't like that they killed him off from the third one. So I was like, that's a little sad to end.
That everybody dies.
And then
but that's why the 4th movie they kind of fixed
so I kind of like that they fixed it. They did. To where, because it doesn't have to end sad.
Yeah.
Now, then some people were irritated about the ending of this one, so I won't get into. But I will say that I don't think it's over. I think that they got more coming.
They've set up a point to where they could make more but they're not doing it because there's more story to be told.
No.
There's more money being made.
That's right.
And that's the unfortunate thing. This felt like a money movie, but you know what? It's if I go to a movie to be entertained anyway and to just have fun sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's good enough for me. I had fun.
I mean, too.
I enjoyed it.
I sometimes think people. I hate to say it's so mean. I'm looking at a picture of Captain Kirk right now, but in reality, sometimes when people go on and on about movies and things, which probably doesn't make much sense from us who are just now talking about all this stuff. But
right.
In reality, sometimes I see people online doing all this stuff, and I use this phrase from William Shatner: "Get a life," in the sense that it's like, it is just entertainment. It is just for fun. We don't have to overthink too awful much. It is just for fun, and I mean the fact that they politicize every thought.
Sometimes the makers are really doing it too. There's a lot of agenda gets put in, and that's a lot of people were afraid that some of the agenda was going to get put in there. But see, if you go in expecting agenda, you're going to find it.
Yeah, I didn't.
I went in just like, it's a Matrix movie. Let's just go have some fun, and I found fun.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I didn't go looking for an agenda, so I didn't see one.
I didn't want one.
Yeah, I didn't want one. I just wanted. Now, the only thing that I thought was a little silly is the hail of bullets that could be coming at Bug, and nothing. Now I was like, well, come on. Now we're getting to the completely ridiculous.
Hit an arm.
And then, the opening bit, there's so many times that there's so many bullets flying at her. Like, agents are worse than stormtroopers. You'd think an agent would be a good shot.
Yeah.
But when you got 5 agents and an army all firing fully automatic weapons and not hitting nothing. Like,
I do have a question about this, and I didn't know if Lawrence Fishburne...
he didn't want to do it.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
He didn't want to do it. Now, although people were saying that in the online game that they had after the films, part of the story that happens in the online game is Morpheus was supposed to die, so people were kind of going that angle, I guess, but I don't know. But I do like that we got a different form of Morpheus, and I like how they made the reason why some of it, because somehow or another Neo, when programming the games, he was releasing stuff into the Matrix through this module thing they were talking about, and I like the way that some of the characters came back because Neo was bringing them back in programming
and he wasn't even
ways.
aware of it in some ways.
Not even aware of it. So there was a really neat things where they explain things, and some of it you don't quite understand until they explain things as it goes along.
Yeah, and Smith, and that was unique.
Smith coming back in his own different way.
Yeah, that was unique too.
And the actor did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he did. He spoke in such a mannerism.
The guy who even played the new Morpheus did a good job.
Yeah, the mannerisms were outstanding.
Yeah, and it's hard to copy it because Lawrence Fishburne, man Lawrence Fishburne is awesome. So
whether you're playing him from those films or Pee Wee Herman.
Oh yes, Cowboy Curtis himself.
Curtis. He was
his
great.
own self. Oh yes. So overall, it's a mixed reviews. I recommend go and check it out.
Yeah.
Don't go in there with any expectations other than to have a good time, and you'll find it.
Yep,
it's fun. I enjoyed it. Plus, who doesn't love Keanu Reeves?
Oh, he's good. He's fun.
I don't know that he's the best actor in the world, but he's just a lot of fun. He's always entertaining.
Yes, he is.
Even when he's terrible in Dracula, he's still entertaining.
Oh, he was fun in that though. Yeah,
right. Just don't let him try to speak in a British accent anymore, please. Yeah, but he's a very entertaining guy, and he's super nice guy in real life too. So
I respect him.
You got it. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's just a good dude. All right, so the last film we have to talk about, Disney's latest, Encanto. Now, I want to point out one thing that bugged me from near the beginning of the story. You have a character, the cousin of Mirabel, who has super hearing. She can hear Mirabel's sister Luisa twitch an eye in the middle of the night. She heard it and knew it was something going on. Somehow or another missed her grandmother talking about there's something wrong with the magic or the miracle.
Yes.
Something wrong with it. Does not hear that conversation, but can hear somebody's eye twitching. That was a major, I don't know if you'd call that a plot hole, because the plot hole is really when something goes off the rails completely into a different direction off the plot. But it was something that was missing that didn't make sense. Another thing that I had that I was bothered by is I felt like the miracle thing didn't make sense. Why? Why did this happen? It seemed like there should have been a reason for this weird magic thing to happen to this candle. Yeah. I didn't feel like I was satisfied with the explanation for why this happens. Overall, though, other than that, and also being highly predictable, I was calling it like, okay, here's the real problem of what's going on here. I can see it. This person is not going to be as bad as they say. Yeah. I knew the whole thing before I saw it, but I will say it was enjoyable enough. But it is not up to Disney standards of what I expect from Disney. They have had some falling standards, in my opinion, with some of their movies. And Pixar is whooping their butt because, there is some nice family themes and some good heartfelt stuff. But I feel like if Pixar had done it, it would have brought me to tears or near tears. I'd have felt it more for Pixar. I didn't feel it from this movie. Yeah. And the music, as much as Lin-Manuel Miranda can write some good music, and if he was writing pop songs, it'd be great. But somehow or another, his style didn't fit in very well. Yeah. On some of the songs fit, I think, very well, because this is in Colombia, and there was some Colombia felt style in some of the music, but some songs felt like modern Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande kind of stuff. One song in particular. So the music didn't stick with me as like, oh, that was a really great, enjoyable little musical number. I really love it. This didn't make me want to buy the soundtrack. Now, I know really this doesn't go for everybody. I've seen people online loving this movie, and I'm glad they loved it. Please enjoy as much as you want.
For them. I personally didn't like it at all. It was in the middle. I didn't like it at all. And this, first of all, keep in mind, I was tired. It was Christmas.
That could be it.
But I doubt that, because I wasn't tired all day, and I watched it in the middle and then finished it at the night. I finished it, and I Christmas, what are you going to do? You got a lot of plans going on. But in reality, the animation was good, but that's not saying much. They can do that easily now with Disney. But in truth, I thought the music was pretty awful for a Disney film myself, because I don't like the pop stuff. I think that Frozen, since they've done that, I didn't much care for the style, but I could have handled it. But it's just that since then they've...
Although Frozen felt a little bit more traditional compared to this.
Compared to this.
Yeah.
But it just seems it didn't fit, and it went on and on and on and on, and every song basically seemed the same to me. It kind of had that...
kind of did.
And then the characters, I don't know... it just didn't seem like a classic. Also, it seems to me like they're going very fast beat with the stories, almost telling like a Looney Tunes cartoon, like very fast
very
beat.
Rushed.
Yeah, quick, telling stuff. And I don't know, they did fix a few things near the end with the characters, but I was like, so Grandma's a jerk. And anyway,
spoiler.
Well, I'm just saying that they make all this stuff out, and I'm thinking, I don't know. It also seems like all these stories are pretty much the same. They make one person look out to be the villain who's not, but looks like a villain, and then I'm thinking,
and in this one you don't have a real villain, you just but you do have an antagonist.
Yeah, and it's just.
But most people, I guess, were not getting that was the antagonist, even though I kind of got that was the antagonist pretty early. I could see it.
I just thought, this is not... I didn't care for it. I just didn't care for it. I was like, I'm not in the mood for this. This should end. And I was just waiting for it to get over.
Trying to get to the end.
Yeah,
it did feel like it drug on a little.
And it's not that I hated it. I don't hate any of that. But I just didn't enjoy it. And again, I love the animation.
But we expect that. It's Disney.
But I thought, man, it also... I guess I get tired of the same story that... Everybody's lovable. Everybody's got their good. Everybody is wonderful, and no matter what you look like, I get it. I've been hearing that story for the last 30 years.
And one thing, like Phil Lawler, one of the creators of Adventure and Odyssey, and one of the writers of there, he frequently says there are some people who just aren't redeemable. Because there's in fan groups for Adventures and Odyssey on Facebook, there's people like, I would love to see this person turn around and this villain become a good guy. He says not everybody is redeemable. Yeah. That's important to know. There are people who are, as Alfred said, some people just want to watch the world burn. There are people who are just evil, and that doesn't mean you don't try.
There are Adolf Hitlers in the world.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you don't maybe try to get someone to turn things around, but not everybody will. And I see what you're saying. With Disney, it seems like nobody has a really bad side. It's like, no, you know what? Sometimes what makes a good story is a good villain.
Well, that's kind of, in all reality, we were talking about Spider-Man a while ago. In some ways, it's a strength and a weakness. He wasted time trying to help some of them. Some he helped, but some he didn't. Talking about going back to the film again. I did that so many times in my life, wasting my time
trying to get someone redeemed.
You can't always redeem. It's good to know the balance.
It is the loving thing to try.
Yeah, try, but also know the balance of, I've done this for so long, now you got to walk away.
Sometimes that's so toxic you have to get away because it's hurting you.
Because there's been times that I've wasted months. That doesn't mean you can't pray for them. Yes, you can pray for them from afar.
Yes.
But after a while, you burn yourself.
Yeah. So you get hurt.
Yep.
You get hurt. Yep. And that's something that did come up in that Spider-Man movie. Sometimes you're doing the right thing when you get hurt. Mm-hmm. But things work out a little bit better for Spider-Man than they can sometimes in real life.
You got to know, find the time to learn how.
Encanto just goes from there. No one's really even bad. And so that's why there is really no villain. Yeah. And when you go back, Raya and the Last Dragon I can't remember, was there actually a villain? I only watched it the one time. Did we have a real villain in that one? Frozen, the person who should have... Well, no, we had a villain, but it was kind of like okay. At the end, I guess that person's bad. But the person who was the villain in The Snow Queen was kind of an accidental villain.
Yeah.
But I guess she's not supposed to have been. But to me, and maybe season 1, I think I went through, when you look at the song Let It Go, it is the villain song. Mm-hmm. It is. When you analyze what she's saying, she doesn't care about anybody else but herself.
Yeah.
And throwing out all the rules. I mean, basically, she's preaching anarchy.
Yeah, screw you all. I'm doing
and
that.
Forget y'all. The cold doesn't bother me anyway.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it. It's like, no, this is a villain song.
It's very selfish in a sense.
It's very selfish, that song. And I think I still had Jesse co-hosting with me. He goes like, yes, please send all your thoughts on what Jeremy's saying to our email address. So, but but you know, so Elsa was kind of the villain there, but she didn't mean to be.
No, it wasn't her fault.
Some people did. Her parents messed up. They didn't listen to the trolls to tell her love was the key. Yeah. But yeah, don't want to talk on Frozen. I'm very thought out from that movie.
Tried to lock her away and say,
locking her up and getting her scared is what caused her to, you know,
because it's not like she could help.
But Frozen is definitely. Well, I know it was huge for a lot of people. To me, that was like, well, that was okay.
Good music, but
it was different people, and it was very, you know. There was, I mean, Frozen is not at all bad, but I didn't like it as much as some other people.
I also didn't like this.
But Encanto, it's now. I want to get on to what we're supposed to be talking about. Encanto, I feel, it might be similar in the same way. First reviews that I saw from people who saw it in the theater, they were like, "Oh, this is really kind of let me down. This is I expect better from Disney." But then, you know, today I was looking and said, "Well, what are people?" Because I wanted to know before I go in and talk about these films, what did other people say? And there were some people who said, "Oh, my kids loved it." Now, and I try not to take this. There are. It's a sycophant. Is that the right word? There are people that no matter what Disney does, they're going to love it to death, and that's fine. If you want to be that way, that's great. If you're enjoying it, I don't want to take that away from you at all. You go and enjoy, and that's great. That doesn't mean I have to enjoy it, but I'm one of those people who I'm able to criticize, even though I'm more love vintage Disney. I do have my love-hate relationship with Disney, where I love it sometimes, and sometimes I hate something they do. You know, I can sit there in the middle, but on this one, I was able to sit in the middle. I liked it, but I should have been able to love it.
Yeah, same here.
Because I was entertained.
I like things about it.
I was entertained by it, and I was like, well, no, I'm kind of glad I sat and watched it, but I'm also glad I didn't pay money to go see it in the theater.
One thing I loved about it was the guy who could see things. I love how his eyes would glow green.
Yeah, when
he had that style of the old Disney style to it.
And I forgot who I read up who voiced him. The actor that played him was great. And I do love that Alan Tudyk was one of the bird. I forgot what kind of bird it was. Some sort of parrot or something, wasn't it? But that was Alan Tudyk, and I love that.
Yeah,
Alan Tudyk has to pop up as some sort of weird animal now from here on, just because we love Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
So I was kind of glad when I saw that in the credits. I was like, "There he is, Alan Tudyk. He was the bird."
So there were some moments where I thought that's a little Disney-like. I like that.
But it's for me, a lot of the Disney magic, it seems like they're trying, but they're somehow not capturing the magic. It feels missing.
Yeah, they're missing the mark.
Yeah, I will say Moana. I did really enjoy Moana.
Oh, me too.
But it's not up to the caliber of, say, like Tangled. I love Tangled.
Yeah, I think that Moana
is really good.
I think it's up there with. Trying to think of one I can go with, but it's really good. I'll say of the recent ones, it's the best of the recent.
Yeah. Well, if you take everything after Tangled, because Tangled was the last one that was I think felt like Disney to me. Was Tangled.
2009.
It's been a while. Wow.
Yeah, and so I'm talking within the recent 10 years.
Yeah.
That's one of my all-time favorites.
The post-Frozen era.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because Moana's been like my favorite.
I liked it better than Frozen.
Yeah, I definitely liked it better than Frozen.
I did like Frozen, okay, but I
got tired of it real fast because of being everywhere. Because there's people who really loved Frozen, and I'm glad for you, but I'm sorry, I'm not with you.
I actually went to watch something Frozen the other day, thinking it was a Frozen short, and all it ended up being was the highlight, or what you want to call it, shapes of the frozen people sitting on your TV with fire looking thing going on.
Like a Yule log-ish.
Yeah, Yule log thing. And I thought, oh man, I thought it was going to be a cartoon. They had that on Disney Plus. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a cartoon. I
didn't even click on it because I saw that's what it was, but they also had some sort of Olaf Christmassy thing I think they put out.
Now that's fun, but
I didn't watch it.
I enjoy Olaf. He's a cute character.
Yeah, I do enjoy Olaf, and I like the actor. He is pretty funny.
Oh, he's a good guy.
But there's only so much I can take anymore.
Yeah.
I still have a plush Olaf somewhere in a box in the basement.
Yeah, he's a fun character. I wanted to see, I thought they were going to have like another cartoon, like a Christmassy one that they brought out a few years ago, and that was fun.
The Frozen, well, no, I guess it wasn't Frozen Fever. Well, I don't remember what the ones they snuck in the theater that was supposed to have been a TV special, and it just wasn't the caliber of something that you put in a theater, but they put something in front of some movie, I remember. Yeah. And I remember seeing it, and I'm like, Bored. Could we
ready to
start
go.
the movie now?
I was that way too, only because I didn't come to watch that. But it
I
wasn't
came
because
for
I thought it
whatever
was
movie
bad.
actually was being shown. What was it?
It wasn't because I
was
thought
that
it
in
was
front
bad.
of Moana? No. Was it? Maybe. I don't remember. That was a few years ago.
I just remember I wasn't expecting it.
I knew it was going to be there. That's for the longest time. And now I don't pay as much attention to Disney as I used to, but for the longest time, that felt like part of my job description was I had to make sure I was an expert on everything Disney. I feel such a release of the burden here that I don't cover some Disney anymore, that I don't have to know everything anymore, so I don't have to do so much research on it. Now I just do research on what I want to talk about because Disney's burned me a few times. Now I do want to say something nice about Disney that started as being them burning me again. Okay, some of you may know Facebook has done a thing where if you have a channel for your podcast or whatever, you can now they'll grab your episodes if you tell them where your feed is. They'll grab your episodes and they'll kind of make a video out of it. Mm-hmm. They'll put like a weird graphic up, but people can actually listen to your show on Facebook now. Now, as y'all know, we play trailers and stuff. Sure. And trailers, I mean, it's an advertisement. I can play that. It's fair game. But they a while back, one of the things, and I sometimes I take it as a trailer. Well, it gets tricky. Sometimes you think you're going to get a little trailer and it's just something that's promotional. Sometimes that promotion is actually showing you a scene. Now, a few episodes back, there was a thing, and I think I mentioned, and I stopped and said, I feel like more or less this was showing us a scene. It was something from Hawkeye.
Oh.
Disney actually came after that episode and was getting it pulled off Facebook because audio that they said, hey, that's ours, that's Hawkeye. And I went ahead and said, no, I'm going to argue and defend this. I said, this was put out as promotional material. Part of what I do is if you put out something promotional or a trailer, I will bring it up and I'll talk about this upcoming thing when it's going to come out, and we'll even share a review usually because we'll watch it. So that's kind of what we do. So they put a promotional material out. I used it as a promotional sort of way to talk about the upcoming series. And heck, I even have enjoyed the Hawkeye series, and I've said it several times on my show. Well, I didn't put that in the thing, but that was the defense I used. Is like it was put out on YouTube as promotional materials. I used it as a promotional material to talk about the upcoming Hawkeye series, which is what that was. And to Disney's credit, they said, "Oh, okay," and they let it go.
Good.
Let it go.
They
didn't want to talk about it anymore. But I was feeling burned because Disney has burned me before. And I think the reason why is because I put the word Disney on a T-shirt. I won't do that anymore because I guess that's what it was. But that's also what caused me to change the name. One of the things that caused me to change the name of this show to the Fandom Nexus. I'm not using the word Disney in the name of this show. And we're not covering so much Disney, but I'm still going to talk some things. Because I still do love Disney.
Well, we love them.
I'm still a fan. So I'm still going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, but I appreciate, and I'm gonna thank Disney to when they. After they were going to come after me again, they looked at what I said, and they must have checked in and says, "Oh, I see what you were doing. Okay, never mind." Because Disney doesn't usually come after. There's tons of Disney podcasts, and I listen to a few. There's a lot of people that really, if you analyze it, they're breaking copyright law left and right. I've tried to back away because there's some stuff I've done that would have got me in some trouble. But Disney will not usually come after us because they realize it's free advertising.
Yeah, it's what it is.
And so they'll leave us alone. Now, they have come after. There was one guy who used to do Extinct Attractions, and he would sell DVDs of footage of old rides.
No.
But no. They sued the dickens out of him and shut him down. Now, he's allowed to have a website and talk about Extinct Attractions and stuff.
That's one thing.
But you cannot sell DVDs of Extinct Attractions. So there is a line you can cross. And I agree with Disney's decision on that one.
You can even put it on YouTube and show things.
Here's my vacation. Although I have had some trouble because I've put some of my one trip in 2009 to Walt Disney World, and there's I would have done it differently had I edited this stuff together later. I kind of wish I just had the raw footage back.
Sure. But you didn't know.
But I have bits on my DVD and everything where I was just showing. So here's some photos we took on our trip, and I just put the appropriate Disney music on top of it. And of course, you put that on YouTube, and Disney's going to say, "Hey, that's ours." But they won't pull you from YouTube, but they won't allow you to monetize it. But that's okay. I never have put it on YouTube to be monetized anyway.
Yeah.
I've put it on there to share. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to share it with people. Kind of like this podcast. I'm not making any money on this podcast.
Yeah.
I do this because I like sharing it with you listening. I like sharing this stuff with you. I like, hopefully making you have a good time for a couple hours, because right now we're over 2 hours. We're 2 hours, about 22 minutes right now. I love sharing and talking to not only to Phil. Of course, I talk to Phil all the time, but he and I get to talk stuff together for you because I like sharing that you are a fan of things, as we are.
You, the listener.
You, the listener. You, my friend. You are my friend in whatever capacity that we enjoy some same stuff. And I love talking about this stuff for you and in a way with you, because I'm sure you're talking to your iPhone or whatever you're listening on. Yeah, I bet you interact with us more than I know. But that's why I do the show.
We don't even need to know what you called us.
I don't make it done. Now, I appreciate, and if you would, go on Patreon and just help me cover the cost of this. I don't make a dime off this show. I spend money on this show. I spend a lot of money on this show. But I do it because I love talking about this stuff and I love sharing it with you. And that's why I put stuff on YouTube. I've got, Disney saying, hey, that's our song. That's fine. And I hope you go and buy copies of the music that I played on that video. I'm fine with Disney making money off their music. That's great. Because I didn't put it up there for me to be able to monetize it. I put it up there because I wanted to share it with people. And so, yeah, that's a slight sidetrack. But yeah, that's why I do this show. That's why we come back, I would say almost every week. I just want to share my love, my fandom with you. So thank you for coming to Fandom Nexus. I think that's a good way to wrap it up.
Amen.
I think it's a great way to talk about it. So that's why I've done this now we're in our 9th season. 8+ years that I've done this is because I want to share this with you, and I'm having fun talking about this stuff. And plus you and I, we have fun conversations anyway, so having us record stuff. I miss Eric, though. Eric is, he was hoping to be able to come on today, but he told me, he says, I'll be off work about 4 o'clock your time, but then I got to go grocery shopping. Eric, buddy, we're going to get you back on here.
That's right.
I miss getting to talk to Eric. Especially I had fun going to convention when he's come up here and everything. We have to run around there. I mean, Eric is so much like us. I mean, he just fits right in with us. It's just
I was actually talking with him online the other day. It's a little bit here and there.
Yeah, Eric, he's just a good guy. So is Adrian. Adrian's having, I know, kind of a rough time. So those of you who do pray, be praying for Adrian. He's struggling. And also our good buddy Jeff Barnes, author. Sure. He's been on a few times. He had an accident. I guess I think he went to Boston over Christmas and he fell. It seems like I think he fell down some stairs while carrying some things, and he's got some cracked ribs. I think maybe a spinal injury. He has gotten to go home, but he's been in the hospital injured. We love Jeff Barnes. Dr. Jeff Barnes, Dr. Disney to some. So we pray for his speedy recovery. So those of you who are praying people, I want to just remind you of those people because we love them, and I'm sure you do too. I bet you're fans of them as well. So Adrian Ropp and Jeff Barnes, keep them in your prayers. But anyways, all right, we want to wrap this up here, and let me go to my thank you list. Of course. Well, I'll get to the thank yous here, but of course we always like to thank Karen Kennedy, Ricky Pope of the Christian Nerds Unite, and Darren Wilhite of the Will Height and Wall Show for lending their voices to our intro, and even Ricky has helped me out with the movie thing. I need to collaborate with Ricky. I've been, we keep getting misfiring and stuff. He actually wanted some of my input on something that I didn't have time. But I said, we kind of did mention it on there. But he was doing an episode on what makes a movie a Christmas movie. And he's thought it out, man. He had a long list of stuff he sent me. And I kind of felt like I didn't give that much criteria to it when I says, we mentioned it on the show if you're taking a look there. But I didn't have time to really send anything right there because it's been a busy month. But check out Christian Nerds Unite, by the way. It's a fun show with Ricky Pope. But of course, you can get a hold of us podcast at neverlandpodcast.com. You can find us on Twitter, Neverland PCast, and Facebook if you look for Neverland Podcast, we have a group and a fan page. Leave us a voicemail 816-226-6492. You can join the Neverlanders on our website. Also, as I said before, you can donate and help us out for even just $1 a month over on patreon.com/Neverland Podcast, or I guess it's a / we should say, because saying /Neverland Podcast sounds like you're supposed to injure us with a machete or something. /the Neverland Podcast, but no, it's a / but yeah, we're not really the Neverland Podcast anymore, but we are still Neverland, the Fandom Nexus here. But yeah, so I appreciate Patreon support because it does help me with the cost of running this show, because it is a money drain on me, but I do it because I love it, and I love being able to share this with you and talking with you as often as I can. I'm sorry we didn't have a show every week this month. I bet you've been busy this week. I hope you had a fantastic holiday. Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrated, I don't care. If you had fun. Festivus for the rest of us, But for me, and take this in all sincerity with whatever you celebrated, I hope you had a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a fantastic New Year, and I hope this coming year, 2022, is better than the last 2 years have been.
Amen.
I expect great things. I with this new job, new budget. My wife and I are kind of working on a new budget. Things are changing. In fact, I think I'm actually at a point where I'm going to try to save back $50 out of every one of my paychecks. I get paid twice a month. That's $100 a month to save. Both I get $100, my wife gets $100 in our own savings account that we can save to blow on junk. So hopefully by this summer, I will have enough money and I'll get my PS5, brother. I'm saving up for it, which means I also have to make sure I don't spend my $50 on more Masters of the Universe figures. But the nice thing is, I learned something by buying the Land Shark vehicle. It's so huge, I couldn't fit anywhere that it did sit in there. Jeremy, you don't have room to put any more figures on your wall. Especially the last nook of space was taken up by that wonderful Sinister Six set you got me. It took up a beautiful place right above the doorway in my office. I just don't have room for any more stuff. So
there you go.
I had to take Shaggy down off the walls too.
Oh no!
Shaggy's come down.
Zoinks!
So, zoinks! Yeah. Well, I didn't have any friends for him to go with, but Shaggy is appropriate for me because I used to look like him. So, but anyways, but that has put it down there. So, Jeremy, you don't have room for any more. But seeing something new because there's a buzz off out there.
All right.
And thanks to Pixel Dan, who's a big fan of Mosquitor. I saw that Mosquitor figure, and I'm like, he is kind of cool. I kind of want to get a Mosquitor.
Me too, but I won't.
So, but I won't. I won't. I'm going to try to stop because I don't know where I would put any more of these toys.
I got more, but later.
You've got because I could put stuff in the bedroom, but the bedroom is more of a shared space for my wife and I, not the office. So I'm not putting Master of the Universe. If I buy a Disney decoration, I can put it downstairs. But
he's thinking, folks.
Yeah, Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars I put down there because it's all Disney owned. But Disney doesn't own Master of the Universe at this time. So,
I'm sorry, Heather.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm making it fun. We enhance each other's lives, and that's one of the ways I enhance her life. I make sure her life isn't boring. I learn a lot of stuff from her, and I make sure her life has got some fun in it. That's what we do. It's a beautiful marriage. It's a beautiful thing. Oh my goodness, 18 years. It'll be 19 years this year. Anyways, I was trying to close the show out.
Do it.
And so I guess the only thing left to say is get lost.